muses and pub crawl, and it got really noisy. And why did it get really noisy? Not just because
it's Ireland.
Because it's Ireland. Yes, it's Ireland, the best country in the world. I was going to say that. Yeah, it was like, it wasn't the fact that I forgot to adjust the volume when I recorded this latest edition of the video. It was, hey, and it's
no, you're totally professional.
Totally professional. And it's not just any Ireland. It's the south of Ireland, which is the best part of Ireland. And you are to the west of me. Is it the west? No,
yes.
It's east.
No,
You're to the east of me. Yes. Cork is to the west of you. Yes, I am so thrilled to finally get Potato Revan on. I've been seeing him in the chats and all that, and I've been trying to watch his show while he's on, usually on Friday nights on his channel. Great stuff. And of course, I'm assuming, maybe for those that don't understand, you're obviously a Revan from the Star Wars, and the potato is the Irish part, right?
Yeah, actually, the name comes from a friend of mine because... So, I was originally Darth Revan, but there's 10 billion Darth Revans on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I was trying to, like, hey, I only have 40 subscribers. I need to get more. And I asked, like, the subscribers and people in my chat, they're like, dude, you're hard to find, so you need a new name. Mm-hmm. So, I asked my friend, and she's like, dude, every time I talk to you, you're literally eating potatoes.
Because you're in Ireland. It's
and I'm like, they're magical. If we don't eat potatoes, we die.
Yeah. Well, and unfortunately, literally, if you know the history.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, and it's not just any kind of potato. I remember from being a little girl in Cork. It's not just one. You have to have like 3 kinds of potatoes for dinner. You know, you'd have
French
you're going to have boiled. You're going to
have your mashed potatoes. Then you got to have your roast potatoes, and then if you're lucky, if it's a Sunday, you're going to have your croquettes as well.
Oh, fancy.
Yes. Oh. Actually, they're 80 cents now for a bag.
Huh. Oh, yeah, I keep forgetting you're no longer using the real Irish money. It's the euro stuff. Yeah, but it does make it easier when I travel over there, because sometimes I'll also pop over to Paris, and I don't have to change my money. But when I go to England, of course, I have to, even before the EU. But I digress.
You may need a new visa now when you're going to England from Ireland, because they're out of the EU. There's a whole big thing now going on.
Oh, you're right. As an American, I would always have to get a visa before I'd visit. Yep. Oh, well, sorry, my friend who lives in Manchester. Never going to see you again, because that's too complicated for me. But before we go on, let's
get them to go to you.
Oh, well, there we are. Yeah, he'll come over to... Well, I like to visit England. Well, it's Northern England. Does it count? It's always... I really like Manchester. That whole area. It's wild. It's fun. But anyways, let's say hi to our chat. We have Chris Santh here, my cousin, another flower. Hey, yo, everyone. And she's like, Miss Martin is giddy with excitement. I love it. Yes, I finally got a real Irish person. People think I'm Irish, and I'm like, I promise you, I'm not even close. Not even close. I lived there as a little girl. And so I have a lot of memories and a few things there, but I really, I'm not Irish. I don't even have any Irish blood. Like, a lot of Americans are like, I have an Irish grandfather. I don't even have an Irish grandfather, okay?
I had 2.
I know you had 2. And yeah, I bet you also had an Irish mother and a father.
I know.
And siblings and teachers. Oh gosh. Well, we were talking behind the scenes a little bit about, well, not Irish teachers, about the people in the shops and at the dog races.
Yes. Oh.
But gosh, the teacher, even in Ireland nowadays, they would all get arrested for the things they used to yell at us. But hey, it's not Brian. Hello. I mean,
not Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, not Brian. Yeah, but not Ryan Johnson. Yes. And he is he's from Britain, I know. I don't know where he's from. I think he's English. I don't want to sound ignorant about any of that, because if you accidentally say that to, like, a Welshman, it's like, oh, he's from England. It's like, no.
Just say the UK.
The UK. Yeah, you can't go wrong.
It annoys everyone.
Yeah. Because it puts the United into the kingdom. But oh my goodness gracious. I just love your icon though too also. It's so cute. Oh, Scotland. Okay, so there we go. Okay, yay Scotland.
He's from England's love child.
Yes, you're England's love child. Now, speaking of ancestors...
Actually, fun fact, Scotland was actually created after the dissolvement of the Irish kingdom of Dál Ria, when two brothers amicably decided to who were princes at the time to take a crown for each side where they lived at. One was became the High King of Ireland, and after his father, the High King of Ireland, died, and the other one was over in Scotland after marrying a Pict lady and became Richard the first King of Alba.
Huh? You heard it here first, and you're referring to Brian Brew, aren't you?
No, this was
I'm
about.
ignorant. I thought he was the first High King of Ireland.
No, he was the first emperor.
Oh, Jeannie Mac, I just totally messed up.
He
don't know what I'm
literally
talking
titled
about.
himself the Emperor of the Irish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because there was all these kingdoms everywhere, but I seem to remember when I was a little girl. But then again, whatever the hell they taught us in school, it was all fairy tales anyways. I actually believed that St. Patrick prayed 100 times in the morning and 100 times at night. And I learned that was a lie. No man can pray that much.
There's a thing you need to read. It's called St. Patrick in My Own Words. It's his... St. Patrick was dying and he was confessing his sins.
Oh, no.
And you got to see that he was a cruel man at times.
Oh,
and he
yeah. Sorry.
Like, he had a son. It was discovered not too long ago. He had a son who was a general in the Roman army, who, when he died, was informed that Pretorius, St. Patrick's name, had passed away. And he's like, do not bother me with such trivial matters.
Dude. Yeah. Well, I didn't read the one that you're talking about. Well, maybe it is. I've known it as Confessions. At least over here we call it that. Yeah. St. Patrick. Yeah. St. Patrick is a lot of saints, especially those Irish saints. They weren't fun to be around. They were mean. It'd be like,
well, let's face it. Like, back then, a lot of the Irish culture was like very mean.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like,
you had to survival.
Oh yeah, like there's one thing they said, like there was one king, and someone slighted him, right? So he basically turned the guy while he was alive, his skin into a jacket.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and you had to do that because the way kingships worked back then is if I was stronger than you, I could come in and take your kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
So
and not
you
just
had to
take your
prove
kingdom,
that.
They'd kill all your family and your kids and your puppies and everything.
Of course.
Yeah, that's the way it was. And as you can't judge the past by the present.
No. You can't. You can never look back at the past through a modern lens. You can never do that.
Mm-mm. And people
Which is
that
a lot
do
of that's what's happening in the nerd culture right now.
Oh yeah, that's a nice segue. Yeah, people that do that are twats.
Oh. One of the things that with nerd culture, the gatekeeping facet of it really annoys me, is because let's say for talk's sake that you're getting into Star Trek, right? How big of a Star Trek fan are you?
Oh, I'm a big one up to at the end of Enterprise. But after that, no Star Trek.
Yeah. But the thing is, it's like a lot of people will get mad at you because you wouldn't know a warp core from a singularity core.
Oh, yeah, that's ridiculous.
I've seen that argument. My friend, we were at Comic-Con, and she was standing there, and someone's like, oh, yeah, I mean, they've got this model of like the Deridac singularity core. And she's like, what's a singularity core? And he just looked at her and insulted her.
Oh, jerk.
And I'm just looking like, dude, you're literally wearing a Discovery shirt. Don't start this fight.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say. Yeah, well, and there's always been an aspect of nerd culture that was very judgy. I remember the arguments between people that watched The Next Generation. There were some original Trekkers who were like, real fans don't watch The Next Generation. There's only Captain Kirk and the old one. And they could get really weird too. Like,
that's actually still going on. They're like debating who's the best captain. Then it's now, if you like Discovery, like Picard, like Strange New World, that you're not a Star Trek fan.
Yeah. I find that that kind of stuff a little bit annoying. Now, I will judge people that like it a little bit inside my head, but on the other hand, uh, I've seen enough of the logical progression of that kind of attitude to where people just start being mean about it. Like it's one thing to put forward what you love, but it's another thing
Hmm.
to be unkind.
I was on it, and we were in a Discord chat group, and one of the guys screeched down his microphone full volume, right?
Hmm.
While we had headphones on, saying that Discovery is not Star Trek canon. And I'm like, because I simply said, like it or hate it, it's still canon.
Hmm.
And that's when he lost his mind.
Ah, well, yes, you can think something sucks, and I also lose a little bit of patience with the whole canon thing. Is it, that's something that's relatively recent as well, more from like the whole EU George Lucas
Yeah.
and the stars. But so then people they start to act actually like they're talking about the canon, because ultimately when I think of canon, I always think of the canon of the Bible, and people are
Yeah.
just as fanatical about it with their fandom. And just because something sucks, that doesn't mean it's not canon. It sucks.
But
It absolutely sucks, but
one
get
of the
over it.
main issues with the whole canon debate, and I'm a major Star Wars fan, but
Hmm.
it is George Lucas never accepted the EU as canon. The EU was always what if.
Hmm.
It's like essentially it's relegated to not even a what if, what like it's fan fiction.
Oh, wait. Are
It's
you talking about the EU?
yes.
Okay, now we're going to start to fight over that one, though, because that stuff was approved by George Lucas. It
Oh
wasn't.
no, I'm not saying it wasn't. No, I'm not saying it wasn't approved. It was approved. What I'm saying is canonicity wise, in connection to the movies. That's what I'm saying.
Mhm. The ranks, sir. The ranks. Look what you've done. You see, this is what happens when you bring an Irishman on the stream wrong. I already pushed back a little bit. Yeah, I think we're talking about two different. I think I understand what you are saying, but no. Because the way the EU did unfold, it really was considered part of the story, and it was what Disney retroactively have said
They're
that.
stealing from it.
Yeah, stealing from it. But yeah, this is true, because see, this is the other thing, is that when George Lucas finally got into the prequels, yes, he did start writing into the prequel trilogy and the Phantom Menace and the all three of them actually. He used stories and backstory from the EU and put it into the movies as though it was already known. It was already part of the canon, like things from Shadows of the Empire, and the prequel. He considered that the EU book was the prequel to the Attack of the Clones. I forget which one that was
Mm.
called. Yeah, double bladed. Yeah, things like the double.
Ahsoka,
Yeah, Coruscant. Yeah, Coruscant came from the EU, so he did use those characters. They were first from the EU.
yeah, Ahsoka is meant to be doing the Tron trilogy.
Oh, well, that is
That's what's
completely Bolshevik. Yeah, that's a whole other different story. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, that Ahsoka and what they're doing, Disney Star Wars. Yeah, that. Well, yeah, they're bastardizing it now, but that was like after George Lucas's era.
yeah. But one of the big things on like YouTube and Twitter when it comes to nerd culture, the
Hmm.
biggest groups is it, and I'm going to call them out, the fandom menace.
Mm, that. Oh,
Like
okay. Go ahead. I'm. You're
from
good.
what I've seen, the fandom menace are now starting to eat themselves alive. A lot of the big hitters in the fandom menace don't talk to each other. Like Random's gone nuts.
Oh well, hey, let's not talk. Call.
Yeah,
Don't get
sorry.
me into it. Yeah, we're not. Yeah. The only thing I'll say about that is, when you said starting to, it started back in 2018, 2019, and in general, there's several reasons why I don't consider myself a part of it. Any group, for that reason. Well, because the way I like to tell people is I already have a pope, and that's
Yeah,
plenty.
plenty. Oh,
having one pope is enough. Having one pope is
oh.
enough. For Pope Francis, that's what I mean. It's like I got one pope.
Well,
I don't
technically
need
for
to
a
have
while there was
50.
two.
Sorry.
Technically for a while there was two.
Well, sort
Uh,
of. But yeah, we're
yeah,
not. That's for a Catholic explaining episode. Yeah, no, but I know exactly what you mean about the nerd culture, and I think that once you get into a situation of us versus them and start attacking and being unkind to each
yes.
other, and it's like, why are you being unkind? It's like you're going to be in the pearly gates talking to Jesus. It's like, okay, it's time for judgment. You did this, this, and this over. And he pauses and he goes, Star Wars. I mean, is that, as a Catholic, I believe, one day I'll meet Jesus face to face. Even if
Yeah.
you don't believe in it, how ridiculous does that sound?
But at the end of the day, if you think about it, someone I used to be friends with made another one of my friends, she's on my panel, cry
Mm-hmm.
over literally the Flash's symbol. He went from because she said it faced the other way, right?
Okay.
And he then turned around and started screeching at her. But not only that, he then started attacking her personally.
I see. Yes. And that is where I have sadly had that happen to me relatively recently. It's like, hey, can we argue? But then you think you're arguing about, as you said, the Flash's symbol, and then
Yeah.
suddenly they start to say something that impacts your real life and impugns your character and all of that kind of stuff. And you're like, whoa, I did not sign up for that.
Like, we were there and I said to him, like, I can't have you on the streams, I can't have you around her, especially after what you said, and we just don't talk to him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
this has happened, like, a lot of the nerd culture is now swung over into anime. It's moved away from sci-fi, fantasy. Well, I mean, there's a lot of the fantasy, but that's still being tainted by modern politics. But if you look at a load of the things that are going, do you follow any of the Comic-Con pages?
No, I do not.
If you follow Comic-Con, look at cosplayers, things like that, most of them are going anime.
Oh, yes. Partly because everything else sucks. And then so the
Oh yeah,
crazier stuff's moved into that.
yeah. Hey, zombie.
Oh, hello. Thank you. And actually, yeah, let me make sure I have this here. It's like this is the Irish version of Miss Smart Music, so things might get a little crazy here in the pub. But I should also say, if we have been doing this pub crawl, we're on our 5th pub. So I guess technically we've all had at least 5 drinks by the time we got to the
Only
Irish.
5? What? I had it. Wait, hold on. What's been so boring? When did you get hurt?
Well, technically, the idea of a pub crawl is you have at least 1 drink. I mean, we could have had 2 or 3, but we'd have alcohol poisoning if we were drinking hard.
That's an American pub crawl.
Yeah. Yes. But you know what I like about Guinness? And I've been told that only girls are allowed to do this, that we can get a glass of Guinness with a little bit of black currant in it. That's allowed. That's legal. And it is so good. It is so good.
I don't drink myself, but blackcurrant's amazing. And most people in America think it's illegal.
Black currant?
Yeah. Blackcurrant used to be illegal in America at one stage, up until the 1970s. It's not anymore, and a load of places don't sell it because they don't realize it's not. But if you go onto Amazon, they'll sell you Ribena from back home.
Oh, I know Ribena. Yeah.
Yeah, they sell you that for $15 a bottle.
Nice. Well, you heard it here
I'll link
first.
it to you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Well, I'll find it. The first thing that I used to do when I would get off the airplane at the Dublin airport, because that's where it's easier for me to fly into. The Cork airport, they just don't really have direct flights. You have to go through Manchester, and I'm never doing that again. Flying through it, rather. But I would get the black currant cough drops. And then I would go to Tesco before I left and just get handfuls of blackcurrant cough drops and a few other things like that to bring back with me because we just don't have them here.
When I was going through American customs, I couldn't help but laugh.
Hmm.
I walk with crutches, right?
Hmm.
And they're like, okay, your crutches have to be scanned. And I'm like, okay, now come over here to the body scanner. And I'm like, do you see the problem with your logic? And she's like, excuse me? I wasn't being rude, I was laughing. I'm like, do you see a problem here with your logic? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you just scanned my crutches. Yeah, I walked here on crutches.
Yeah. Well, the world's gone insane. The world's definitely gone insane. But, I don't want to negate the good parts of culture because nerd culture rather, because I think it's very easy to now you can see the warning signs and steer around. And some of the coolest and best people that I've been able to interact with and meet in some cases in real life are
nerds.
the same ones I met in this same circle.
Like my panel, I met one of them in Houston, and I'm going to meet a second one of them. I'm going to meet her in Boston, and we met like on a Discord, and we're nerds, and we've just sat there like nerding out about like different things. But one of the things I find in the proper nerd communities, we're some of the most accepting people.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, no matter who you are or what's wrong. Hey, Tim.
Yeah, look, Tim's here. Man. Kylo
Ren. But if you look at it, if you're like, oh no, I'm upset, most people will turn around and say to you, are you okay? What can I do? Where do you need me?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love about the nerd culture.
Mm-hmm.
They don't judge you because we have all been there. Like, it's like, oh, I was bullied, everything like that. It's like some more than others, but we all understand what it means.
Yes. Oh, hell yes. I mean, we'd give our left foot for people if we needed to.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, but you don't have to dox yourself. But what the hell are you doing flying all over to Boston and Houston? You're a world traveler like that?
No. My grandmother passed away, and I had an inheritance from her, small one. And I said, screw it. Like, we were planning on meeting up because one of my ex-friends, there was a big fight. It all went to crap. But one of them had a baby. One of them graduated. It was all around the same time that we were going to be meeting up. Right? And I'm
sorry. Really, Tim? Okay, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I do apologize.
And so, but the thing is, one of the guys we were meeting up doesn't fly. So we're like, why don't we just go to him? Closest place we could get to was Houston. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We're like, so let's meet up with him. Now, in Boston, that's where I've got cousins.
Oh, of course. Of course. Irish people always have American cousins. I forgot.
I've got 350 of them.
I believe you. I really do. And I'll tell you what, when I was teaching in Catholic school, and when St. Patrick's Day would come around and say, does anyone here know anything about Ireland? And then they would be like, oh, I have cousins in Ireland. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're the American cousins the Irish were always talking about.
You're the cousins. It's you.
It's like, you're the cousin. Yeah. So, of course, in Boston, because so many Irish fit there. Yeah. Well, Houston's a good place to fly into because it's a hub. I mean, you can fly straight from Dublin, can't you, to Houston, I think?
No.
Maybe? Oh, okay.
We had to go via Chicago, which had a funny story because they got stuck there for 12 hours and they ended up getting a free hotel.
Nice.
I ended up not eating or drinking for 3 days.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I didn't eat the night before we flew. Then when we flew, then I got trapped in America. Like, that was basically 2 days. and it was on the third day that I ate, and when you saw me, I must have looked like I was frantic. I was out of my mind.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I literally had 2 breakfasts that morning, and I went through like a pitcher of lemonade.
Yeah, you really had second breakfast.
I did.
You did.
But what about third?
Oh, okay, yeah, what about that? Oh, speaking of third, oh my gosh, I'm a horrible woman. I forgot to say the pub we've been in. We've been drinking so much, because understand this is our 5th pub. I forgot where we were. We are actually, speaking of second breakfast, we're at the Prancing Pony. That's where we are right now. And
yes.
we're inside, and we don't know that Frodo and all of them are there, and that ring racer are about ready to come through and ruin
They're
the party.
over in the corner doing their weird little thing. We'll just stand there and watch them.
Yeah, and we're just like, who the heck is that idiot?
What are they fucking doing over there?
Exactly. It's like
There's some children doing a magic trick and drinking. Must be up in Donegal.
Yeah. I was going to say, especially when he was doing that, because in the book, of course, he's singing this song and dancing around. It's like, yeah, it's like an Irish wedding where everyone's just like, there's always that one person that's had way too much to drink.
And that's usually an uncle or a granddad. At my cousin's wedding, the best man was drunk and started hitting on everyone. Ended up getting divorced from his wife. It was hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, when you said the person was married, drunk streams are the best streams. Yeah, of course, to be real, you said you don't drink. I don't drink anymore. So this is actually a dry stream, but we're in a fantasy world where we're on our 5th one. So,
well, I'm Irish. Does that count as drunk?
Yes, you're an honorary drunk. And unlike me, you're a real Irish person. So everyone always thinks I am. It's like, can a girl just live in Ireland? I mean,
no. You have to be from Clonakilty, and you need to have an auntie called Mary now who goes to show you now some brogues when you go off to do some Irish dancing for yourself.
What he just said, if you don't know Ireland, is more true than you know. And you have to have at least one uncle, at least back in the day when I was in Ireland, one uncle was a priest and one auntie was a nun, and usually a very bitter and awful woman. And
some old lesbian.
They were all chain smokers. All the priests are still chain smokers, but I digress. Not all of them, but yeah, I mean, it was crazy. And yes, you'd have the Irish uncles, and this literally was a case in my neighborhood where the morning would come, the moms would feed everyone, if school wasn't in session, they just let the kids roam free like a bunch of wild animals, including like the toddlers and stuff. And then when it was time for dinner, we'd all come in, and then they'd throw us all out. They didn't want us around. They were like, fuck off.
It's simply called fuck off. Go on.
Yeah, I'll see you at dinner. Yeah.
See you at dinner. What time's dinner at? I don't know. Haven't decided yet.
Yeah.
See you at some random time.
Or they'd randomly yell at you, dinner's ready when it's ready.
Did you ever have this as that the traveler mother walking up to her door and screeching for her kids?
Not screeching for the kids, but yeah, they would show up. They would show up begging at the door and stuff. It was, and have a big sob story. Yes. Okay. I want to address this. Steeg thinks I look Irish. He says I have Irish face syndrome, and but I whatever that means. But I guess I look Irish, and I mean, okay, my blood, my people, they do come from a Scandinavian history and ancestry, and ended up in around Wales, but that's not Irish genes. But maybe they all shagged each other so much anyways, they crossed the channel that the genes got into.
Someone did a DNA test of Ireland, and the current Irish makeup is made up of about 7 different countries.
Mm-hmm. Well, it makes sense because there was lots of shagging
so many times.
Yeah. Yeah, and invaded. They were invaded and shagging, and it's cold over there. There's not much else to do.
Well, that's the thing, though. How you know an Irish guy? We tend to be hairier.
Okay, and this is a little bit of nerd culture with the Irish culture because it's almost like it's got its own nerd culture in itself, but it's along it's along with it. I mean, what I love about Ireland, and I don't know if this is your experience, but whenever I go to mass in Ireland,
Mm,
I try to go in Irish for one thing. I know some
aren't
of the
you
response.
special?
Well, because I'm special. Because like, if you have the chance to go, I have a little cheat sheet, that you can get with have the responses. So it's like
Yeah.
Buena Dia. Yes, I know that. And I just read off of it. But when you go in English, it's a million miles an hour. It's like
I'm actually slowing down how I'm talking.
really.
Yeah, I don't talk this speed. I talk faster.
Ugh. Oh, okay. Wait, you talk faster than everyone else talks at mass?
Yeah. No, I'm talking. I mean, now, like when I'm talking to you, I'm talking a lot slower than how I usually talk.
Oh yeah. Well, because otherwise, no one would understand a word that you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I
pretty
was gonna say,
much. It's
if you spoke faster than the normal Irish person at mass, I'm like, dude, like, no way, you would be like in another dimension of speed.
I mean, like some of the times, I mean, like I can go on, I can be talking about this fast. Like I could be telling you about different cultures. I could be talking to you about different histories. Sure, one of the times I turned around and I managed to get an entire explanation of where we needed to go to someone out in like 2 seconds.
Precisely, yeah, and I can understand it. I just can't imitate it.
Do
But
it.
yeah, before we wrap up though, nerd culture, because we talked a little bit about the more toxic elements of it, and um, everyone knows. And my own advice always is if people are impugning your character, like what you said in that one situation, or someone did that to that lady, over what symbol is on what uniform, or even anything that is fiction or made up, even if the person's being a stupid idiot, it doesn't
Mm.
matter. You still have the obligation to be kind to people.
But that's the thing. We have all been on the end of unkindness,
Hmm.
of hate. Okay,
Because we're
I'm facing the right
nerds.
way. Yeah, we have known what it's like. We have all cried. We know what it is like to have that person stand in front of us and wonder, are we going to get knocked out?
Hmm.
But why would we go and do it to someone else over the direction of a symbol on a uniform?
Hmm.
I mean, you get Star Trek community. There's a theory about the uniforms, that the uniforms are the reason why they change in a universe is for time travelers.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just yeah. And but
Yeah.
even if it's not, who cares? Yeah, Steve's making a good point. Give it a Star Wars in your life, and 95% of it. Well, if there's 95%
No.
of it's gone, the other 5% is Star Trek, because Star Trek is just as bad.
Start. You get so the people who are new to Star Trek and they're getting introduced via the bad robot guys, right? Strange New Worlds, Discovery, Picard. They call them Drekkies, and that comes from one YouTuber.
Yeah, we will not name
No,
drop.
I'm saying no, but I'm not going to name it. But I'm just saying, it's now it started out as he's like, oh, I won't call him this. I'll call him a Drekkie. It is now genuinely become an insult term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, is she a Trekkie? No, she's a Drekkie. And you will get blocked. On Star Trek Online, I have seen people blocking people for using a ship from Picard, from using a ship from Star Trek Online. You hear, oh, for fuck's sake, what's that? It's a USS Discovery ship, and they're like, block.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why? They don't know you. You're never going to see him again. We're in a hub.
Mm-hmm.
Why does this bother you? It's a game. Let them play their game.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this: if I were to put them on the Freudian couch, there's something far more disagreeable in that person, and Star Trek is being used as their proxy for that nasty part of their personality.
They're very angry. Like, a lot of these people I know are like that. This is going to sound bad. Genuinely turn out to be creepy.
Well, there's a reason why they have to get their validation from online. And this might sound really hypocritical because I'm sitting here. What am I doing? I'm online all the time. But
Well,
I
you're not
don't,
being validated for being online.
yeah, it's like I actually have a life. I have friends. I have connections. I do things in reality. I have a, had a, when I say I had a great career until Stieg. Is he still here? Yes, he's still here. He told me to quit my job and I agreed with him. But it was the best thing I ever did. So I did obey him. And now I just work contract work because I think I've told you before I'm a teacher. And
Yeah.
I am never again will I be stuck in a classroom because of what's going on right now.
Well,
But what they'll, that's right, go ahead.
the main thing is you're happy.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You see, and that's the other thing too. And I do have, I found very quickly, everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, this chick quit. What are we going to do with our lives?" And they started throwing money at me to just come in and do what we call master classes. So like, I'll just take a section of of the orchestra and just work with them and give them tips. And they're paying me out the ass for that. And then saying, "Hey, will you show up at the concert and help tune the kids' instruments? We'll pay you out the arse for that." So I did find a way to continue it without that yoke around my neck. So that's the other thing. You don't have to stay where you are, with a few exceptions. I'm single. I was able to do that. I know some people, if they're locked into a family situation, that's something entirely
Yeah.
different. Yeah, but if you can, do it. But yeah, I don't need. And well, I've never found my validation from being mean to other people, if for no other reason I realize I'm going to have to go to freaking confession. And kind of like that whole thing about Jesus, this happened to me once, and it only had to happen once. This was when I was with a part of Once Upon a Fan and doing the Once Upon a Time community. I was sitting there in confession and I'm like, and then this, and then this, and then I said this, and it was really mean, and I know it was mean, and then this, and then, but that person was mean. And would you believe what this person, I was just vomiting it all out. And I always go hidden. I don't like to look at the priest when I confess. And then I just hear a pause, and the priest goes, "Did I hear you correctly when you said this was all over a TV show?" And I got real quiet. I went, "Yes, Father. Never mind." And I'm never going to let that happen ever again, because it brought into perspective how ridiculous that someone was mean to me, so I was mean back, and then we were mean, then I was mean, and I was sitting over a fucking TV show.
Yeah.
And being mean to other people. So that got nipped in the bud for me.
Like when my friend was crying, I turned around to the guy who made her cry, and I'm like, "Do you feel better now? Does that make you feel like a big man? Does it?" Said, made a girl like run away, bawl her eyes out. Well, she ran away. I'm like, "Well, you're a fucking dick."
Well done.
Yeah. Like, I'll stand up for anyone. The thing is, even on my channel, if we're talking about, like, just for talk's sake, because you know so much about Lord of the Rings, just say someone was talking pro Rings of Power, right? Mm-hmm. If they started going after you, I'd defend you to them. But I will never. That's the thing. It's like, I don't like people being hurt. Because at the end of the day, like, what's the point of it?
Yeah, what's the point of this? Well, I like the way that you said that you phrased it to the guy. "Do you feel better now? You made this woman cry over a symbol on the Flash's
It started out as a symbol, and then it went into her sexual orientation. It went into how she dresses, her political beliefs, her religious beliefs, the fact that, like, some of the personal facts about her, like, she was bawling her eyes out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you feel like a big man.
Yeah, and if you not only do you feel like big man, and then they'll be like total dicks back and go like, "This is stupid that the person's crying over an argument." And I'm like, "No, the person's crying because what they thought was an argument suddenly turned into a personal attack." And it's like that people don't know the limits.
Like, the way before on my channel, just say we'd have you on it, which I'd love to have you on it. Right?
Sure. Yeah. Well, 4th of July, I'll be there.
Oh, hell yeah. So if we're talking about something The rule is it's going to be you're only allowed to attack the points, not the person. If you start attacking the person, I'm going to mute you until you be quiet.
Yeah, darn right.
Ryan says the Star Wars fandom has always had a passionate disagreement, but it turned up several notches when you're an ist and
you're racist, sexist for not liking a movie.
Yeah.
But
well, they're not actual fans. Like I got blocked on TikTok by a Harry Potter lore creator.
Ugh.
Right?
Yeah.
Because she was like, I'm never going to play that game and everything like that. And I commented, you don't play games on your channel. You talk about lore. So you saying that you're not going to play that is nothing but a look at me, aren't I special, pat on the back, bully for me that you want from your audience. You just want to feel special and get into this whole anti-J.K. Rowling movement. And she blocked me.
Yeah. Well, though in a way I'm like, I'd rather people block you and leave you alone than people that block you and, well, talk about you behind a block, or rather don't block you and put you on blast. You see, that's the stuff that I will see, which is never acceptable. And,
no.
And it's like what not Brian was saying is like, yeah, I would agree that they threw the first shot. But then what happened was people started responding in kind. And even if it was right, even if maybe the person deserved it, at the end of the day, it starts to change you if you're being mean all the time. And then, as you said earlier, what ended up happening then when we kind of ran out of some of those people started firing within. And it became a circular firing squad. And suddenly people you thought were friends were punching you in the face. And it was awful.
I really like cosplay. I mean, I like photography, cosplay is part of it, blah, blah, all that stuff. And one of the things that really annoys me is, you know, the TOS dresses?
Yeah, they're fun.
They are, but people now refer to them as the Star Trek sex dress.
The Star Trek sex dress? What? Yeah. I've never heard of that.
A lot of people, like, with how short it is and everything like that, they think it's like a sex costume rather than a TOS cosplay.
Oh.
They simply refer to it as also, and for the Star Wars community, the Princess Leia slave outfit has gone the same way.
Oh yeah, that's the best costume. I mean, I love it. I mean, especially because I like red, you know, in the mini skirt. It's like, hell yes, I'll wear a mini skirt. Yeah, I love that. That's my favorite Star Trek costume because the other ones you don't look very feminine in, though they're more realistic because that's probably what people in the military would be wearing. But you're not as pretty. Yeah.
But remember, Starfleet's not military; it's a scientific organization.
Yeah, but yeah.
Tell that to the sovereign class.
Yeah, no, good point. And Tommy's talking about how I like the ones that try to argue and continue to prove how you like them. They're best at doubling and tripling now. We see, and that's why I said previously on my video about the Black Aragorn, you are wasting your time arguing with them because they are not looking to have their mind changed. They're looking to be right. And we also get into that dangerous territory of the whole narcissistic weirdo thing that social media has created. People on the internet do not want to be convinced. People that will argue, they're vampires. They're spiritual vampires. They want to suck up your time. True story. When I was with Once Upon a Fan, and people would pick a fight with us every single day because we were we were huge, you know. And I had a policy. I was the editor-in-chief, and I said, we are never going to argue with anybody. And if anyone tries to argue with us, we are going to ignore it. And everyone's like, well, we can't let them get away with that. And I'm like, they're not interested in an argument. And not only that, look at this person. This person has maybe 100 followers on Twitter, and we had like 100,000. It's like, yeah, so if we argue with them, suddenly everyone sees their account. It's like, that's why they're picking fights. People aren't picking fights because they want to argue. People are picking fights for other reasons.
Like, they want to pick fights because a lot of the We're Special community has gotten into, sadly, because of the Big Bang Theory.
Oh, I know. Big Bang Theory ruined everything.
Yep. It's like, if you're an actual nerd, the Big Bang Theory is not funny.
Mm-mm.
At all. It's like, they're a bunch of like grown-ass babies, and Sheldon is literally treated like a toddler. He is a theoretical physicist with multiple PhDs, masterates, but yet he cries on the floor of a comic book store.
Yeah. It's not. It's well, and the worst thing that ever happened was Star Wars becoming popular, quote unquote popular, and
mainstream.
Yeah, mainstream. Maybe that's what I'm thinking. It's the same. It's the same thing. Ugh.
I mean,
yeah.
Comic Cons are huge now. Fantastic to see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the true nerds are no longer scared to come out as who they are.
Yes, and that's a good thing.
It is, but one of the things that I've seen people talking about is like, someone's like, oh, I've been there since like back in this day, blah, 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 and everything. You're like, congratulations, good for you. And right, this is my friend. She's 19. She knows more about Star Wars than you ever will.
Yeah.
It's like, a lot of these people are getting into it via the new stuff, but the hatred that they're receiving for getting into it from the new stuff is putting them off of the old stuff. And as a community, we have to remember they're younger, so they're going to come into what is on at the moment, and then they're going to move backwards.
And they'll
we just have to give them time.
Yeah. And they'll get there eventually. I have found personal satisfaction as well as seeing more fruit from presenting what's good, if you will. Like, instead of saying you suck, it's like, oh, look at this cool picture of this. And and I've been showing off my books. I've been encouraged to do so. I wonder by who.
Wait, you can read?
I can read, but you know what I mean? Like, every time I buy a new book, and I've been getting into Dragonlance, I've been into Feist, and that's part of the reason why we started the book stream thing that I've been doing. It's like, okay, find these, and they're good and they're worthy, and you will be entertained. And if you start, say, with Dragonlance and then move to the Terry Brooks and then go to the Riff Roar and all that, or even Feist books, you've got books for the next 10 years.
Yeah. Like, I was looking at, like, for when I'm traveling and listening to the Harry Potter on audio, some of the books are like 2 days long. On audio file. But one of the series that I'm one... Now, I have a theory about the Game of Thrones series and why it's taken so long.
Oh, let me hear it.
So, George R. Martin told the guys where it's going to end. This is my theory, right? He saw them put it into practice, saw the fans' reaction, went back, Control-Alt-Delete, started fixing from his mistake. And that's why his...
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was saying, and then it started a snowball effect, because if he changed that, he had to change this. He had to change this.
Yep.
And he has to fix everything.
He does, and that's what's taking it so long. Also, George R. Martin did admit that he never wanted to be an author. He always wanted to make TV programs. And I'm just like, okay, yeah, well, you're an author. Finish your book before you die.
Yeah. Well, and Rennie said something pretty harsh on one of my streams. It had to do with fat. It had the word fat in it. and that's part of the thing. And you don't want to fat.
Like
hey, I'm not going to make fun of a fat person. But if you're in your 70s and you're that big, you are a ticking time bomb. Literally. We don't have time for you to play with your trains.
Yeah. Like, one of my friends, he turned around and he's like, George R. R. Martin should just sit down, instead of writing it, just sit down and start talking the book. and let someone else dictate and like dictate the book and let someone else write it. That way he can have it out within 6 months.
Yeah. Not unlike what Robert Jordan had to do. He did it because he was dying, where he left behind that for someone else to do.
Um, who Agatha Christie, when she was dying, killed off all of her characters.
I know. It was so sad.
I know. I like. It's like, why did you do that?
Mm-hmm. Now I
Fun
understand.
fact about fun fact about Star Trek: Spock is canonically descended from Sherlock Holmes.
No way.
Yeah.
Huh.
Canonically, Spock is descended from Sherlock Holmes.
My mother probably knows that. She was more into the TOS. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there you are. Huh.
Yeah. My grandfather watched the sci-fi back in the 1950s, right? And you turn around and it's like, where did you watch it? And he said, of all places, yeah. He said, on the building yards, he said, they used to have, like, they brought in a TV for the coronation, right? Because he was over there for that, working in, like, construction. But he said they left the TV there. And on breaks, he said that they used to just, like, have serials, as they were called. Playing at the time, he said, and when he'd be out of his crane, he said he'd turn around and just sit there watching Lost in Space and things like that. Back in Buck Rogers, all this stuff back in the 1950s.
Yeah.
Then he got a TV in the 60s in England, watched Star Trek, came back over to Ireland, didn't have a TV until 1972. Got it. Started watching Doctor Who, Star Trek, and then in 1977, when Star Wars came out, him and my mother were there for the opening night of Star Wars.
Cool.
The last episode of Star Trek I watched with my grandfather was Inner Light.
No way.
And yes, he ruined that episode for me.
Oh, that is the best episode. I play it on my tin whistle. I still have my Irish tin whistle, and I play that tune, and it makes me cry almost. It's like, oh my gosh, it's just
It makes me cry. It makes everyone cry.
Yeah.
But I think that should have been a reboot for Picard. Honestly.
Oh.
Because if you think about it, Picard had been an old man with children, grandchildren, everything like this. Fundamentally, he would miss his family. Even now he knows he's fake, that would put a longing on him for a family. Which was not in Star Trek. My favorite franchise, honestly, depends on the day. Because I like franchises, but hey, Jacob, good to see you, buddy. But the problem is, a lot of the fans put me off from having to be my favorite. Like, what I honestly would say is one of my favorites is Lord of the Rings. Like, over everything, I listen to the music of Lord of the Rings when I'm just like, if I'm going around tidying, I put it on my phone, have it coming through my earbuds, things like that.
Yeah.
I love Lord of the Rings. I've been looking up lore, listening to your streams about Lord of the Rings was fantastic. I actually watched some of your streams while I was waiting for a train going to Dublin. I was watching some of your old Lord of the Rings streams, just in there, just chilling out with a Coke, watching, waiting for the train. Half seven in the morning, sitting there. It's like, what time's the train? 11 o'clock. Because I'm smart.
Oh. Well, no, that's great, Lacey, and that's what I hope to get out of that, to do that. And well, though technically Lord of the Rings isn't a franchise, they're trying to make it into a franchise. That's what those stupid Egypts are doing with the Rings of Power.
Yeah, but when I would have said it was a franchise because it's already been movie and books and things like that.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, like the Lord of the Rings books, like I got my cousin. He's like, man, I don't read. I'm like, dude, just listen to the audiobooks. I actually sent him some of your streams.
Oh,
He's a trucker, right? Like,
yeah.
listen to the books. And the thing is, he is now reading his 2-year-old. He's about to turn 2. Lord of the Rings
Oh,
at night, and I'm
no.
like, it is now multi-generational.
Yeah. Well, and
Like,
I think a lot of us, not me in particular, but I've known
yeah,
people that's how they got Lord of the Rings as well. Those are like my brother-in-law. He read The Hobbit to his kids, or niece and
my
nephew.
I was sick when I was young.
Hmm.
I've got like chronic pain condition. My granddad used to read me Lord of the Rings when I'd be
Oh,
up in his house on the couch after missing school. He'd sit down and read Lord of the Rings. Then I got into it myself a few years after he passed away. The movies and everything like that. I got my mother recently into Lord of the Rings. Um,
cool.
yeah, I had her watch the movies. She hates Gollum
Oh well,
for
he's yeah.
biting and she hates Frodo.
well,
Yes. She says, why is everyone saying Frodo's the hero? Sam's the hero. Sam did all the work, not Frodo.
actually, she's right. Sam is the hero, but Frodo. I mean, come on. But
Frodo's the ring
well,
bearer.
yeah, he's. Oh, but well, we can forgive our mothers for lots of things, right?
Yeah. I heard
All right.
someone describe Star Wars as tragically beautiful.
Interesting. Hmm.
But the thing is, if you look at it, it's not a story of good versus bad. It's literally a story about failure and how to come back from it.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, like because they always say it's fall and redemption, but it's like failure and that it's
Re-
never too late. That's the whole thing
yes,
about Anakin. It's never too late to say you're sorry and to change.
there was I play a game called Destiny, which if you ever get into that, please hit me up and I will definitely join you. It's cross-platform,
Hmm.
right?
Oh,
They
okay. Well, that's good because so some things aren't.
Yeah, one of the characters died, and he turned around, and we went back in time. We weren't meant to save him. We were just meant to get his sword,
Hmm.
right? And it's like but we saw him at his worst point, and it's like I don't see a future because where he was, the world had just ended. There was like people were coming back from the dead. That's what Guardian is, but they were at war with each other. Aliens were invading the planet. There was no hope, right? We showed him the city, and he looked and he said, "This is for tomorrow." He said, "No, this is centuries from now." And he said, "I want to go there." He said, "I want to have sushi again." He's Russian. He's like, "I want to have sushi in that restaurant." It's like, you will. But the thing is, over 1,000 years later, they showed a cutscene, right?
Hmm.
Because of us giving him hope then, he survived. Yeah, he was lost in time, but he survived for over 1,000 years and came back and says that he's still living up to the example that we showed him back then. And said, "I have come to meet you the long way round, my friend."
Oh,
And they put in, it's canonical that nobody knew why this big, huge robotic titan sat down and started crying while eating a bowl of ramen. It's
wow.
because he wanted it for after 1,000 years. Because the thing is, he still remembers standing on the site, watching like a family's village get burned, by a race called the Elixni. Watched their village get burned, and then he just sat down and started crying, and while eating ramen, and people thought he was weird, but he's like, if you understood, you'd know why.
Oh,
And yeah, and it's like I love the lore of Destiny because a lot of these characters do bad things, but they all end up being redeemed. Like one of the a warlock, it said he was unnamed, but it said that when his fire team was falling, the only thing he kept uttering to himself was "stand up."
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Like, I absolutely love it. Like, this game is awesome. The character. This is interesting for fantasy wise. Okay?
Uh huh.
The main bad guy is not evil. At all. We see him as evil because it's from our point of view. He's not evil because the Traveler creates life. But it's creating immortals. You can't have that.
Oh.
Yeah. So he is the first knife. Now he's after doing something weird. It's in one of the DLCs. He shows up, goes inside. We don't know why he's doing. He's gone for a few months. We don't know why. But we're standing there and we're looking and we're like, someone tell us something about it. And we found out he is the amalgamation of a species who joined the darkness. They all sacrificed themselves to become one species, one being that was perfect. That was the opposite to the light. And I absolutely love that because he's not one person. He is 10 billion in one.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like, now everyone who plays Destiny, because so the fun thing about the Destiny community is the Guardians are renowned for zero fucks given. Okay?
Yeah.
And the players talk like that because they're all doing their own characters. And they're like, hey, what? It's the Dorito. You mean the Witness? He looks like two Doritos on top of each other, though. And there's a gun that was called Luna's Howl in Destiny, right?
Okay.
That was named after a Guardian's dog who was killed while fighting enemies on the moon. And it said that he got so angry that he wiped out 10,000 Hive in one blow and then sacrificed himself to go be with his dog.
Oh, doggy.
Yeah. But now all the players, once they hear this, they're like, we must get Luna's Howl.
Well, and
But
I think
it's
you're
like
bringing
nerd culture like this I love.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, heck yes, and video games too. They have magnificent stories, magnificent music, and the speaking of nerd culture, like role play games. Stieg is the DM of the group that I'm in. We've been playing Dungeons and Dragons, and then we moved on to the Conan D20 almost every Sunday for 3 years, and goodness knows how much longer we're going to be doing it. I mean, it's a culture, it's a way of life, and it's like an ongoing story that you make yourself. These things are so much fun.
I've always wanted to play D&D, but I didn't really ever have friends until I was older, and most of my friends live in different time zones. Bloody Americans.
Oh, I know. Sorry about that. Yeah. Well, it is tricky to find a time that works, but yeah, that's all part of it. Okay, before we move on to true crime, is there anything else you want to maybe mention about nerd culture?
It's not dead. No matter what anyone says, being a proper nerd with all the political stuff, it's not dead. We still have our shows. We still have our heroes. There will be more heroes to come. There will be more books that'll make us cry, more stories that'll make us want to grab a sword and run out and fight. Being a nerd isn't dead. If anything, we're now looking at it through one eye. If you open both your eyes and look, it's all still very much alive. It is not dead. If anything, nerd culture has in fact grown. Look at Comic Cons. Look at all the pictures from cons. Dublin Comic Con, in a small country, had 65,000 people go through their door in one day. Like, this isn't dead. Like, Colossal Con, my friend just went to, had 105,000 people go through its doors.
That's amazing.
Nerd culture's not dead. It's still very much alive. I think the problem, and this is going to sound bad and I'm not insulting anyone, we're the problem. Because we're so hurt, we can't see the light in anything else. We just need to take a breath and go and watch. Because we have stuff like The Orville. We have stuff, Picard season 3. I know people hate Picard, but season 3 is a hope of it's a flicker of hope in Star Trek. What I've been hearing about Strange New Worlds, the thing is, the problems that we're facing is only due to people. And you know what? People move on to different jobs. So
Yeah.
there's books out there for you to discover, shows out there for you to discover, games. Like what I was just talking about Destiny. If you read the Destiny lore, play, listen, read the stuff for the guns, it will tug at your heartstring. And I've been playing that game for 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Like, it is. Like, the games now, like, a lot of the older stuff was vaulted, but they do explain to you what's going on via cutscenes and everything like that. But we had one of the actors, Lance Riddick, pass away, right?
Mm-hmm.
The entire Destiny servers collapsed because fans were going there. And New Lights were standing there like, what's going on? They're like, the voice actor passed away. They were all going there, doing their emotes, kneeling down, crying, paying respect, like emotes throwing flowers and things like that. It was so colourful. I took part in it myself.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, like, being a nerd, it's a big part of us, but everyone's like, oh, being a nerd's dead. No, it's not.
Yeah. Well said all around.
Thanks.
Yeah. well, it's true. And I think sometimes we need, like you said, you need to stop, take a breath, get the stick out of your ass, and see what's good.
Stop listening to YouTubers and listen to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Though I always joke, it's like we are YouTubers, so we want people to listen to us. But I know what you're trying to say is that if what you see every day is the same thing, complaining about the same thing, and we've been seeing this since 2017, wasn't that when The Last Jedi came out? It's like, oh my gosh, that's like 6 years of just constantly being bombarded with what is negative and maybe not the positive. And that's not to say that there's not a place for people fighting for their culture.
Yeah.
But to be mired in this negativity and feed off of this negative energy. Yeah, you see, that's what I was. Well done, Zombie Box.
Well, I mean,
well said. He
like...
said, for those that are listening, Zombie Box said, "Don't listen to YouTubers." Gotcha. Bye then. Well, yeah.
No, come back.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Or if you do, take it with a dose, just a small dose. Because again, I found a lot of us are going through some soul searching right now. It's not unlike when you fall in a bit with a bad crowd, maybe when you're young or, gone off in college, first time you've left home. And you just find that you start to take on the characteristics of what you actually don't like. You become kind of what you hate. And then
that's one of the things. It's like politics. Mm-hmm. If you hang around too much time going around you get too far on either side. The thing is, you become exactly what you're fighting against.
Exactly. And then when you start to deperson people, unfortunately, some of the, I'll say it, leftists have hijacked good language, because there is such a thing as being toxic. There is such a thing as being triggering, and there is such a thing about all of those things. And like I said, when I talk about energy, it's like, I know they do it, but it is true. It just because some leftist weirdos use it. Oh, I just did it. Leftist weirdos. But you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. I'm talking about the fanatical ones. Because obviously,
the far left.
I'm in music. Yeah. For crying out loud, everyone's a leftist in music except for the ones that are in the closet, because no one wants to admit they're not leftists because they don't know if they're going to be canceled. He's still, Renat Bryan says Twitter seems special in throwing up stuff you despise. Yeah. I have
seen videos of murders on Twitter with no blocked out screens, no nothing. People just Like, I saw a guy being hit by a train. I saw the TikToker swimming, um, getting killed.
Mhm.
I saw people getting their throats cut and people being shot. And I'm not looking up any of this stuff.
Yeah, and it pisses me off, pointing a finger at you, Elon, because I was trying to figure out how this stuff was showing up on my feed when I'm not even following it, I'm not even liking it, and then you find out there's something like for you, and then people you follow, and then even if you have it on people you follow, if someone else likes it, it'll still show up, and it's like, no, that's not what the way it's supposed to be, and so Twitter yeah, it's horrible, it's negative stuff, not just stuff you despise, but also it breeds on conflict, and I
It
cannot
does.
tell anyone enough, never get into an argument on Twitter, because Twitter is not the format to do so. Twitter is the format to dump,
Twitter's not real.
to troll, and it's, well, it's not real, but I'll push back just a tad bit. It
Okay.
is real. It's real because it's, if you're hurting people on Twitter, it's real. You
Oh
know,
yeah. No,
like
what
some
I
people
mean
say you
is
can't. Yeah, sorry.
a lot of the people out there going around shouting and screaming, re. Like, that's not really them. And I heard something interesting. Somebody said a lot of the young people walking around screaming and everything like that, wait until they hit 30 years old, then see what they become.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, and we've also found that they're faking it because they find out
They
what
are.
goes viral. So sometimes when someone will go, I can't believe this person's doing it, and I'll watch it and I'm like, that person is so acting. It's like, of course it is. But then you get
Look
the
at
phenomenon.
Hollywood. All
Yes.
these actors, Brie Larson, Tom Hanks, coming out calling people ists and phobes, are now coming out against cancel culture, against all the stuff that's going on, and I'm like, oh, cool. So they stop paying you the big bucks.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Or
only reason.
they started
The
getting
only reason.
canceled.
Oh yeah, the only reason why these celebrities are like this and are turning against it is they never believed in it in the first place.
Nope.
That's the thing. They were only doing it because, one, they were contractually obliged. Two, they were doing it because they didn't want to be cancelled. And my thing is, I shared a post on my Facebook years ago, and I still love it, and I stand by it. If I haven't offended you, I'm sorry. I'll get around to it.
Oh dear. Oh, my cat just tried to knock me over. Yeah. No. Absolutely. And I think you're saying a good point, especially the part about being contractually obligated with, for example, that chick from the Rings of Power and all the things she was saying. And well, it's like, why is that all she's talking about? Why is that all she's talking about? And what people don't realize is that they have publicists for these shows, and they are contractually obligated. Like, okay, you're going to go on this interview, you're going to be at this Comic Con. Here's your talking points. This is what you're going to
Sure, my
say.
cousin works for the Spanish. My cousin, she lives in Madrid. She's from Venezuela, but she lives in Madrid. She works for the Twitter and what you call it, social media for the Spanish royal family.
Mm-hmm.
They're not even putting out their own tweets. These
No.
people, when you're like, oh, look what Brie Larson said. Did she?
Mm-hmm.
Ask her about it.
Said. Yeah. Yeah. And
not
that
even
often,
her publicist. It's probably Julie, 17 years old, sitting down drinking coffee after being hired by Brie Larson's people to do it for her.
yeah, that too. Yeah. And that sometimes, and that's why occasionally when they'll be like, we fired the person, it's like, they're probably right. We used to have a joke saying when something wild would come up like that about an actor, like, oh, looks like ABC got a new intern. And then all of a sudden, those stupid tweets would go away and some Twitter person would like make sense and logic, and it's like, okay, they got rid of the intern. Yeah,
Like,
so that's
I
something to
forget
keep in
who
mind.
it was. I was watching, someone was talking to someone, and they're like, you said on Twitter, I have a Twitter? Yeah, you're very active on it.
Exactly, yeah. Well, and I
News to
remember
me.
one. Yeah, and it was in public. So Robert Carlyle had a bit of a situation like that, and so this one had like an interview with him. He's like, That's my interview. What are you talking about? And then a few seconds later, it's like, oh, never mind. There was, and it turns out that, yeah, that the company or something had put it out as a quote unquote interview with him, and that sometimes there's nothing they can do about it. And if you're powerful enough, you can like speak for yourself, but
Yeah.
most actors cannot. And I guess that one was public, but there's a lot of private
Julia
situations.
Roberts don't know how to run social media. She is a technophobe.
No, absolutely. And
there's
yeah.
a multi-million follower on Twitter.
Yeah, and it's done by a team, by their personal assistants. It's just the way it is. But and I do know specific situations, but they were said in confidence again, where they're like, "Ugh,
Yeah.
I didn't want to say
Hey,
that, but
rookie.
I have to say that. I have to say that because that's what I'm. That's what my job is to say. You have to say what the agenda or what the talking points are for the TV show and the company
You
you're
do.
working for. And that's the price you pay for being an actor. Most actors are not in control of what they say.
One of my
And
favorite ones is Karen Gillan. Someone asked her about politics, right?
mhm, yep.
Her eyes just start bouncing all over the place, and she's like, "Yeah, I think that da da da." Anyway, so moving on, and when they turned around and they're like, "So who would you vote for, Trump or Biden?" I am a Scottish citizen. Sorry, I'm a Scottish citizen.
Hmm.
I am not American. So who'd I vote for? That would be getting me arrested.
There you go. That's a great line. Yeah. I love Karen Gillian, by the way. I
Oh,
had a
she's
great
hilarious.
interaction with. Have you met her?
No.
No.
I met Worf though.
Oh yeah, he's nice too. I've never. Yeah. Um. Yeah.
I met Worf and Seth MacFarlane. I met Seth MacFarlane in a
MacFarlane?
lift
Yeah.
at Comic Con.
Oh, cool.
You know Simon Pegg's friend Nick Frost.
I think so. I'm gonna sound ignorant.
He's the heavy guy from Shaun of the Dead, World's End, things like that.
Uh-huh.
Have you seen those movies?
Oh yes. Or at least I've seen the Hot Fuzz. Is that the one?
Yes.
Hot Fuzz? Yeah. Okay.
So he's the heavy cop, right? He's Nick
Oh.
Frost. That's Nick Frost. He's Simon Pegg's best friend. I saw him on the ground floor at Comic Con.
Nice.
And I'm like, "Hey man, I love your stuff. Like, you're hilarious." He's like, "Thanks, man." I said, "Won't bother you. Like, you're not in queue." And he's like, "Thanks." What I saw still makes me laugh to this day. He was buying a Star Trek badge from Discovery, and he's like, "Simon's going to hate this."
Mm-hmm.
So
Funny.
I'm like,
Yeah, because someone's doing this stupid
yeah.
remake thing. Yeah. Oh, gee. Yeah, but I've got nothing bad to. Well, I'll never have anything bad to say about Robert Carlyle. He is an amazing man, and Karen
Yeah.
Gillian. Maybe it's the Scottish people that are still cool. Do you hear that, Brian? Not Brian. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to true crime, which is something that
Yes.
me and Dad are really into.
Oh yes.
Tell me about
It's-
your story with true crime.
So I started getting into it years ago. There was an African ritual murder that took place up the road from my house.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And when you say an African ritual murder, like
African people doing a ritual murder from Africa.
so it was pretty gruesome.
Yeah, they removed a giant slab from the house. They found her head.
Wow.
What? 20 miles away? 15?
Ooh.
A good distance away. It was a different county. So you know the map of Ireland yourself, roughly, like
Yes.
the
Oh
area.
yeah, I know it. I know it better in America because that's where I
So
learned
it happened
in school.
in Waterford, and they found her head in Piltown in County Kilkenny.
Dang it!
Yeah. Give me
Dude.
1 sec now.
Oops. Did I lose him?
No, sorry, had to mute. Someone was asking me something, but
Okay.
real life.
No worries. You're like, I'm talking about dead heads and decapitations and African ritual murder.
Yeah, like, so since then, and I've always been Then after that, for a good while, I worked in a church, basically digging up bodies. And I've always been into more darker stuff, if you get me.
Yeah. When you say digging
Like
bodies, you mean like digging graves for bodies or exhuming bodies?
exhuming. I actually exhumed my own ancestor.
Oh, that okay. I shouldn't say that's cool, but that is so Irish and wild.
So my ancestor, Sir Simon Newport, and the archaeologists were trying to get permission to exhume his body, but they didn't have any of his descendants who were contactable, because most of them are big titled people in the UK and aren't that easy to get contact with.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, I'm local, I'm his descendant, showed my family tree, proved who I'm descended from, and said, here, you can dig him up, and they dug him up.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was there, and I laid flowers with it. I held a coffin. I helped on earth him and things like that. But then I got into religion, right? Then weirder religions, which led me into cults, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to name anything just in case people are like, my church is in a cult, you get me? So don't have to worry about that.
I understand.
But some of them, I then was looking into extremism and everything like that. And I'm there and I'm looking and I'm like, what leads people into this? Which then led me down the rabbit hole of true crime.
All right.
And I have been watching it for years. And I'm just looking like, who would turn around and be like, oh, I'm going to go today and murder my friend? So the first one I did was a few months ago on my channel, was the Slenderman murders, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm not familiar with that, but that's okay.
Yeah. So the Slenderman murders, basically, there was this website called Creepypasta, and there was this guy on it called Slenderman. Right? It was essentially a writing exercise. Okay?
Yeah.
So the way it works is I write the story and then you're like, oh, I like this story, but I'm going to give it a twist. So you come in, you write your own story based on Slenderman, add in a couple of new characters, blah, blah, blah. And it built from there. The whole website was a writing exercise.
All right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
These 12-year-olds girls got obsessed, and one of them was schizophrenic, and it was a whole mess. They decided to murder their friend to summon Slenderman. I'm saying nothing.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not going to say none. I'm not going to risk her channel. I'm not going to.
I think that's funny, though, once we get a stronger legal team. I mean, okay, yeah, go ahead. And just because I put something up there, I mean, you could ignore it or whatever, keep going with your rhythm. Yeah.
But,
I mean we'll get to the comments in the chat. Let me make this clear. We're not going to ignore you. But as far as the rhythm goes, that's what I'm referring to.
So she turned around and she murdered her friend, and her friend crawled along. And she's alive now, thank God, because all the stabs missed her heart. Right?
Dang.
And a man put a jacket on her and knelt on her. Hey, Rennie.
Oh.
Good to see you. Mm-hmm. So he saved her life. And as well, the dirt packed her wounds because she was crawling through the sand.
Mm-hmm.
So that saved her life. And then I got into, there was an Indian family who all of them unalived themselves, just using YouTube friendly language.
Yeah.
Because they believed that the oldest son was being inhabited by the father's spirit when the son went to sleep.
Whoa.
And that if they did a ritual, it would bring the father back. And all 11 of them passed away.
Dude.
Yeah. And I've watched so many of these. On Friday, I'm doing one on H.H. Holmes. It was very interesting. I've just done one on Jack the Ripper. So that's another interesting one.
Oh yeah, you see that was the start of my story with true crime. Yeah,
Yes. It's the start of everyone's.
I
Like,
know. I know it's boring
but
to say so, but it really was true. We went on a Jack the Ripper tour when I was in college. My sister made me do it, and then next thing you know, the rest is history.
my grandfather, his dad took part in a search. Have you ever heard of the missing postman?
No.
Basically, there was a postman just after independence, right?
Hmm.
And he was going along this road with no one around it, and then he disappeared. That was 19. That was 100 years ago. He has never been found. I mean, his body has never been found.
Ah.
And everyone's like, what's going on? Like, my great grandfather took part in the search for it and everything like that. My granddad always thought it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, oh yeah, there's definitely people out there who knew. There's a couple of channels who do, but sadly, a lot of Irish stuff aren't interesting to the wider population.
Hmm.
Like, videos on Ireland don't do as well. Videos on Irish murderers, on Irish this, that, don't do as well, sadly. And this is just for Rennie. I mean, Rennie'd know because, I mean, sadly, Italy don't exist. It's just Spanish propaganda. Isn't that right, Rennie?
Oh dear. You should cover the Yorkshire Ripper. Oh yeah.
I'll do that next week if you want.
Dude, I know all about that.
You want to come on next week?
Is it next Friday?
Well, if I'm having a guest on, I can move the day to suit them.
Okay, depend. Well, I'm just saying because I do have a stream a week from Friday, so but we'll make it work. We'll make it work.
I could do it Sunday.
Oh well, have this. We'll talk off stream because I'm busy
we'll
Sunday. Damn you, Tatar. Yeah. Well, but yeah, they did a really good documentary on that. You talk about something where the police just really screwed that one up.
Oh God, yeah. Madeleine McCann, as well.
Mm.
Like that's a mess in itself. You've got people who are blaming the parents and everything like that. It's appeals, but Portugal, that country is being ignored. Yeah, that is true. Like Ireland, because I was talking, there's no actual Irish superheroes.
No,
like there's a reference to the Celtic Knot in DC Comics where there's some pretty heavy hitters. They never called him in. The only Irish guy who was there was Banshee in the Mutants, and he died. And then they had him being played by an American in the movies.
Oh, fuck that. Well, hey, and the Banshee. Okay, you got me on the Banshee because, of course, the real Banshee. You don't. That was the one that scared me to death as a child.
I have something interesting to tell you. So, in 2012, there was a lot of weird paranormally stuff going on in Ireland. I mean, a lot. Right?
More than usual.
And I mean a lot more. I mean that at one stage it got to such a stage that people wondered if there was an actual war going on in the spirit world. Like there was lightning that ran up and down the river. It was just really weird. The two did on in Cuchulainn, yeah. Fun fact about Irish culture, actually. In the sites where the Celtic gods are still kind of revered to this day. You not touch you don't touch their stones.
No. And yeah, you don't and you don't F with any of that stuff, and you don't F with the fairies too. I did a bit of thing about the fairies. So were people thinking it was like a fairy fight going on, or
no? So some mediums and spiritualists were literally thinking that God had gone to war. Because for years they were saying like there's a lot of paranormal stuff happened on this one street because like there was this, I want to say minister, but I don't know if he's too old for that. 1650s. I don't know what he was. He wore the two big white things on his top, so I don't know what denomination he was. He burnt the church down, right? With everyone inside it. And since then, you had like seers and mediums saying that there's like hundreds of ghosts in this area. There's like meant to be a demon on the river and everything like that. And lightning ran up and down the river. It was really weird that year. There was these lights seen in the sky and made the news.
Ooh.
And everything.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. There has been some. Our Lady has been messing around a little bit. When I was there, Spittle, there was some stuff going on. I don't know if you were familiar.
Wait,
with
you were
that.
there for that?
Yes, and I saw it and everything.
You saw the sun, right? That was the sun incident.
There might have been. Oh, I didn't see that part of it. No, but and then the stuff at Knock, of course, from 100 years ago. But yeah, that Our Lady's been kicking around some stuff because the thought is that she's always had a, because she kind of looked after the Irish during misery, pain, and suffering. Some of the saddest songs have Our Lady in them. So that's very interesting. You're saying that.
Yeah, like it was literally as if like there was one stage where I was here and I had my window open, right? And hey, Dalek, good to see you, buddy. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
Yes, thank you. So good to see you. Yeah, even though Daleks are scary, but you're welcome.
So they turned around and you'd hear screeching. Now the explanation was it was a fox in heat, but the thing is, it's like didn't sound like a fox.
No, and foxes are in heat all the time. So
there was a gate from back in the day, and people broke the gate down, caused the screaming. The farmer built the gate up and everything like that. But looking at it, like my city has had a lot of true crime in it. You had people who have offed themselves in horrific ways. In the 1970s, there was a shopping centre, which is now Tesco's. A guy turned around and set himself on fire in his own car.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that happening in Ireland is like, it's not like Chicago where that happens every other day. I mean, that's not an everyday occurrence over there.
No. We're sane here.
Yeah. Well, you
I'm
used
actually,
to be. Okay, the Irish are still sane. It's just everyone else.
Well, from Irish point of view, we're still sane.
That's true.
Like, the thing is, Zombie, I'm actually doing true crime, so my rule with true crime is I'm doing them history-wise. Hey, Mountains, that's another Cork man.
A Cork?
Yeah, Mountains is from Cork.
That's me. I'm Cork Grange. That's where I was from.
That's where my family also lived up on Green Street.
No, freaking wait. Do you have family everywhere?
I have over hundreds of cousins.
Oh, I keep forgetting. Yeah, y'all were fertile myrtles.
Yeah, my grandmother is one of 10. Her dad is one of 3. Her mother is one of 9.
Okay.
So we've got a lot.
Yeah. You've got and we'll get that too at some of my peeps. F-bomb, LOL. Okay, yeah. Well, hello, Mounts of Elysium. Yeah, always good to see everyone here. If you are new, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm trying to get this my pasty white Scandinavian ancestry buttocks to 1,000. I'm so white. I mean, I glow because I'm trying not to get skin cancer, and so even when I go out in the sun, I'm like practically wearing a burqa.
Just be careful. A lot of people from our side of Europe are very susceptible to that. I was doused myself in sunscreen. There's a joke about that when I went to Walmart. The ladies like, honey, which which fact are you looking for? And I said, well, I said, I'm Irish, so as strong as you can get. She's like, right, industrial strength.
Oh, yeah. I get like 100 plus. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd want 1,000. I have a ginger beard. I'm a
Yeah.
secret ginger.
A secret ginger, yeah. No. You can laugh all you want, Rainy, but hey, I'm in Douglas fairly often, so very near Grange. That's where I went to school because we had to walk down and that daggone hill, Grange Hill, because when you ride home on your bicycle going up there, I went to St. Luke's because I was Church of Ireland back then. Well, I wasn't Church of Ireland; I was an American Protestant, and they didn't have our denomination over here. So I went to the Church of Ireland school, St. Luke's in Douglas. Yeah, I love. I go visit.
I'll
Douglas
link
Village.
his profile. Like, the two of you could, like, really cark on.
Yeah, we could. Oh yeah, yeah. Especially if you went to school in the 80s. But there was the teeny little Protestant school which I went to, St. Luke's, which had like 3 people in each grade, and then there was the Catholic school like across the way that with the green uniforms. I forget which one they were called, where there was like 200 million thousand of them because that was back in the day when at least every Irish person had at least 4 children. So, yeah.
And that was a small family.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I mean, when it came time to go to mass, it was like the streets were deserted on Sunday mornings. Everyone was gone to mass. Yeah.
Like, so my rule for true crime is I'm not going to do things where people are alive to talk about it because I don't want to upset living people.
That's fair.
Because I've seen people, like, interviews of, like, family members from, like, Waco, family members from, like, Jonestown, to this day still upset about it.
Oh, well, yeah.
What I mean is, like, the documentary people never asked them.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. They become involuntary public figures.
Yeah, and they're like, my brother was there, and one of them... So... I was watching the thing about Waco, and one girl said that she was sitting down in class, and her teacher was standing there staring, and it's like, "Sir, are you okay?" Like, because they were watching the documentary on cults, and it was Waco came up, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, "I have just seen my dad's body fall apart."
Oh my!
No one asked me about this, and so I won't do that to anyone. Like, so my true crime are all going to involve people who are 100 years ago. Or at least early 1930s, where there's a good chance the people aren't dead or can use YouTube.
Yeah. Well, that reminded. Oh, first of all, I can't even imagine how horrible that was. But I remember when the Titanic 1997 one came out, and they wanted like one of the last Titanic survivors to go to the premiere. And she was like, no. And they're like, blah, 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 blah. And she's like, I'm not going to watch a movie and watch my father die. Even if he wasn't shown dying, it was like he died on that ship. It's like,
I watched them. Did you see Dunkirk?
Yes.
I saw a man from World War II who was on Dunkirk. And he said, I saw actors portraying my friends. He said, and it really broke my heart.
Oh, yeah.
He said, like, it was so real. And I'm like, that's lovely, but I'm not going to reinflict that on people.
Mm-mm.
So I've done Jack the Ripper. I'm doing H.H. Holmes. And I've done the Slender Man slayings. And there's a new one now that's very interesting. But I'm not going to cover it, but I liked it, but I'm not going to. A 12-year-old girl took medication. This is what her mother's claiming, right?
Yeah.
And stabbed her 9-year-old brother. Back in January.
No, that's
and I'm just looking like... that it's an interesting thing, but I'm not going to cover this.
No.
But on my channel, we're doing like more historical ones. I'm going to be looking at like H.H. Holmes, maybe Spring Heel Jack, but he's more folklore.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And who was the one, that the wild one, the dude in Chicago had like that House of Horrors. I forget.
H.H. Holmes.
Oh, Oh my gosh, I'm a fucking Egypt. I meant that. Oh, H. Holmes. Yes, I remember his name. I didn't remember his name. Okay, yeah. I'm an amateur true crime person. Okay, I watch like very scary people with my dad. That's what we like to do. That's how
Yeah.
we bond, which is
Hey,
what makes us feel better than politics.
yeah. Oh, I mean, why would you bond over politics? Politics, no matter what side you're on, you're being lied to.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes because we have the same politics, we'll sit and vent, but then we just realize we just get frustrated. Yeah. How about someone like BTK? You talk too much anything about him?
Oh, I'm looking for names to talk about.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because what BTK did for me. Oh gosh, that sounds awful. I'm going to rephrase that. BTK was striking to me because I'm minding my own business back in what I think it was 2004, and they came on television and they were like, we think we've been in contact with the BTK killer again. And then they had like a press conference and all this. And of course, what we learned later was, yes, it was all true. And they ended up catching him that way. But doing that press conference and announcing it on the news was part of the strategy to give him the attention he wanted, because they felt like, okay, we want him to keep giving us more clues. And it worked because he saw himself.
Did you know they may have found the Zodiac killer?
No, they never have. No.
No, this is what's interesting. There was a man whose dad was on his deathbed, right? And he's like, I'm going to hell. It's like, Dad, you've been a good man. You've been a good dad, granddad. And he said, in that box is, when you open it, is why I want you to pray for my soul. Right?
Dude.
He said, there's no way you can go to heaven. And when he opened the box, there was evidence of the Zodiac killer that was not released to the public.
You've got to be killing me. How come I haven't heard that?
No one has. It's been a few different places. Well, you've heard this a few different times.
Huh.
So either it's a guy or it's something, but I don't know whether to believe it or not.
Okay. Yeah.
Another one that I find interesting is the Black Dahlia.
I've heard of that.
This girl was diced, like cut in half.
Oh, dude.
In the 1940s, and they've never found who she is or her killer. Did you learn CPR?
Yes, for my career,
So you learned on a female CPR dummy, correct?
Yeah, and a baby, children.
Well, the baby's not from someone, but the black. Thank you, bisected.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Now that you said that, I remember.
But the face used for the CPR dummy was taken from a French girl who was found in a river, and it appeared to be a suicide, and the mortician wanted her family to eventually find her, but they couldn't there were no photographs at the time. Right?
Uh-huh.
So he made the CPR dummy into her face. So hopefully someone out there would recognize it, but never came forward.
Oh, that's creepy. Well, there's the one that.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, that was weird. That one's weird. Yeah.
He carved up her face. L.A. Noire had an interesting spin on the Dolly murder. Are you talking about the video game L.A. Noire?
Yes.
Yeah, I got that from my nephew for my birthday.
I have a video game for you and Stig to play on the Xbox that's free for the Game Pass.
Oh?
Sea Thieves. It's a cartoony pirate game, but it is madly addictive.
Okay, well, yeah, let me know. I don't have the Game Pass, but
it is $1 for 3 months and then $9.99 every month after that, and you get the Game Pass and everything going on Gold for $9.99.
Okay, fair enough. Oh, Zombie Box Review says it gave her the Glasgow smile. Now, if I'm correct, that's where they. I don't know if we want to get that gruesome.
The Joker.
The Joker. They Joker somebody, but not with makeup. So
no.
Oh gosh, the Glasgow smile. That is so creepy. Now, I'm sure you know about that chick the countess from like Romania or something in the 1600s who bathed in blood, like she killed all of her little maidservants and drained
Yes,
their
I
blood.
forget her name, but she but only if they were virgins,
Yeah, because she
right?
wanted to get like her own fountain of youth.
Yeah, which I don't mean to sound one of those guys. Do you get me? I don't mean to sound like that, but that led to, yes, Hungary. But
And
from what I,
Bathory, yes, thank you, Elizabeth Bathory. Thank you, chat.
if I am like from what I remember, to protect their children, a lot of the people were basically nearly telling their daughters to have sex.
To protect themselves. Well, you know what? You
Yeah.
got to do what you got to do. That
Oh
makes
yeah.
sense. And what fascinates me about her is when she got caught, I think it was because of her noble status, she was not executed. They generally gave her house arrest. But for how many murders and gruesome murders? It was just so awful.
Okay, hold up. Elizabeth Bathory.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she died in Castle.
Something
She
in
was born in.
Hungarian.
Yeah, she was in Hungarian Castle. Died 1614. Kingdom of Hungary. Hold on, I see her death.
If I'm correct, I'm willing to be corrected. As Tommy's saying she was walled up, but I thought she was just kind of locked up. But
Like, she was basically related to Polish royal family. She is the great granddaughter of Barbara Al God, these Eastern Europeans names. And Bolesław the Fourth of Warsaw, the Prince of Poland. Right?
yeah,
And a little, like, she was very, very bred, if you get me.
yeah.
For anyone, I wasn't saying that she was like made to give birth when I said she was bred. Just saying.
Yeah.
She had children of her own. Like, she died of old age in 1614. The thing is, I don't know how I can cover Vlad the Impaler after everything that happened to him and everything he did and keep my channel.
Yeah. That's you're doing a tricky subject when you do true crime.
Oh yeah, my whole thing is someone said like, man, do you care about monetization? And I'm like, dude, my first channel I told YouTube to go F themselves, so I'm not being monetized. And the thing is, I don't care about monetization. YouTube is my escape. YouTube is how I have a laugh. I just want to create something with people like you, Rennie, Dalek, people like that. I don't want to create something where I'm being paid. So I'm like, hey guys, come and watch this stream and then donate this money to me. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Thank you for the source there, Tommy. Yeah. Well, and I've changed my tune slightly since I think I was telling you about all the money I'm making with contract work, but it can only be for half of the month. So that's why I'm like, okay, it wouldn't hurt to also get get some money for that electricity bill. That
it's nice to have lights.
Yes. Since because half the month I'm caregiving, and that's where the YouTube revenue would be, and the other revenue would. Well, I would not say no to it, but yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Is, I'm doing caregiving myself, but the thing is, if I get over a certain amount, like just say I explode, get some like Geeks and Gamers Doomcock level of subscribers, right?
Yeah.
If I make over a certain amount, I lose my what I get.
Oh, understood. I have another friend that's in and she's in a similar situation. I know what you're talking about. Yeah. And that's fair.
And also there's people who, like my core panel members as well, some of them have like financial limitations to have to get a certain amount as well. So I'm not going to risk my panel members as well.
Sure. Absolutely.
So I don't care about monetization,
Yeah.
which oddly enough has drawn some people towards me, because it's like, I'm not doing this for money. I'm literally doing this to make people laugh.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the other thing as well is make people laugh, educate. I'm an educator by nature.
Yeah,
And I like sharing that, and I like giving people a platform like this. This was one of the best things that ever happened, best ideas, and it's all Steve's fault. His fault. I quit my job, and this whole pub crawl is his fault. It was his idea, and then
damn
my
it,
mother
Steve.
helped. Sorry.
I said, damn it, Steve.
Damn it, Steve. Damn you, Steve. Yes. And the Xbox. I think he said earlier he was also the one to make me buy an Xbox, and he said that I had more hours playing Xbox than in my 25 years of teaching. But but for real. And then my mother helped me refine some of the ideas for it. So
But that's the thing with when it comes to video games.
Mhm.
It can be a great stress, because you can go through, like, say you're having a crap day, right?
Yeah.
You can go on an adventure. Have you played Elder Scrolls Online yet?
Not online, and there's a reason why I don't want to. I have my reasons, but I just play Skyrim over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know about Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah.
But I was just saying it could be like you and your friends go around like questing together. But yeah, you can escape into a world and put yourself in it, imagine yourself in it, in these characters and everything like that. And then it's like because like obviously you're a lore head,
Yeah.
or a lore nerd. There's
Yeah,
another
no,
word
that's
which I
okay.
won't
Yeah, I
use.
know it sounded weird at first, but yes, I know exactly what you meant. Well, and that's yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, it is, which is one of the things I love in gaming, and I absolutely love it. Like right now, I've got a game over there. I got my PS5 behind me. Hashtag PlayStation rules. Sell your Xbox, get a PlayStation.
Oh yeah, well, I've had some of my clientele, my middle schoolers, tell me that I needed to get a PlayStation. So
Yeah.
I do listen every now and then. But no, you're right about that. And well, I did something kind of similar when I played Conan. I played Conan with Stieg, the Conan Exiles, where you can do all sorts of wild stuff.
Yeah.
And little things, but it's a good way to do it. Riker hello 1776 Riker. I love the Warcraft drawers, but now I'm into Conan Exiles and Slaying Demons. Yeah, that's a fun game. I do this whole YouTube thing to interact with and have fellow content creators. Yes, exactly. And
Yeah.
It's fun, and especially if no one's available, it's like, you want to do something? No, got to do this, got to do that. I was like, okay, I'll go online then and see who's around. And it's not like the people online are my secondaries, but there is real life, and then there is there's this, and when it's at its best is here. Okay,
It is. I mean,
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
which is like one of the things you'd surprise yourself at is how many people. I've got 308 subscribers. I'm pulling in like 80 to 100 views a week, and I'm like, there's 80 to 100 people want to hear me bitch on about about crap.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, yes, rather, yeah. I mean, and when I told my mama that how many I had, what is it? I think I'm at 792, though. Someone said that they were going to subscribe, so maybe I got another one. I don't know.
Actually, you're at 795 now.
No friggin' way!
Yeah, I just refreshed.
Oh my gosh. Well, you see, this is what happens when you bring an Irishman on. Well, thank you, everyone.
My followers on Twitter tend to be like good peoples, like Mountains of Elysium, Dalek.
Yeah.
Why do you let Rainy in here? I'm trying to find out a way to get rid of her.
Rennie's also well, yeah. Well, now that I know that I've got a real Cork City person here, because I mean, Cork City the banks of my own lovely Lee. I mean, that city has character.
It
If
does. I haven't been down there in years.
oh
One of the things about it is there's no train, right? And the bus going down there will give you some motion sickness. You've been like up this way on the bus, right?
up to Waterford.
Yeah. On the bus.
No, I'm not. I'm not on the bus. The only time I've been around that territory has been my sister can drive in Ireland, so sometimes I'll bring her over with me.
Yeah. Well, if you ever take the bus up, it will give you motion sickness.
Oh, yes, because those roads are insane. But I'm surprised. There's a train from Dublin down into Cork, but I guess not one to Waterford. That's
So if you wanted to get the train, you'd have to go to Dublin, then you have to get off and switch down.
oh
Yeah.
oh
Mandarin's a
gotcha,
great
yeah.
guy.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. Well, I did do a little bit of a Teresa Travels on Cork City, where I showed off my pictures and all that. But yeah, no, all that's great. And I'm gonna make my rear end's gonna end up back up there eventually. It's just there are certain circumstances, and well, I had to wait for
course.
they. Well, first of all, they had to open up, and then they had to open up to Americans, and they're only just now getting flights going back and forth.
Actually, I was over there last August, and they were doing it from the June beforehand, 2 Junes ago at this stage.
From Dublin to, but you were going to Boston though, right?
No, I was
Oh.
I was talking about all America. They've been doing flights to. They never
okay.
actually stopped.
Yeah, but they didn't let us in, right? I thought there were things, or that we couldn't come back.
You
in
needed to poke. You needed to prove that you had to poke and things like that. But that's gone now.
Okay, so it is. Oh yeah, so maybe who knows? Hello, memes of destruction. Thank you for being here, and thank you
Hey,
everybody.
memes.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's something to keep in mind because I mean, I've actually have a running deal with. This is not a secret because we always say in public with Drunk 3P. I was like, dude, we're all going to meet in Dublin. Anyone else wants to come with us? We're going to rent a car, or I'll bring my sister and she can drive a rental and show you the real Ireland, because some of those tour buses and stuff that you can get as Americans,
No.
they'll take you to Blarney Castle. Not that I don't have anything against it, but you know what I mean. But you don't see the
Blarney
real
Castle is a tourist trap. There's not ever special happened there. That was always a tourist trap.
Yeah. But it's still cool because of how intact it is. But you know what I mean?
Oh
it's
yeah,
nothing
as a history fan, it is. But like when you go to the Rock, everyone's like, "Oh, you kiss the Rock to get the gift of the gab." No, you kiss the Rock and 10,000 people in front of you.
Yeah, and people piss on it at night. But
no, they can't.
Oh, that was the urban legend when I was a kid. It's like, don't kiss the Blarney Stone because everyone pisses on it after everyone goes home.
The Blarney Stone is up very, very high, and you have to be lowered in backwards to it.
I know a lot of people don't know that, and that's why I've never really truly kissed it, because I was like, oh hell no, you gotta like backward crawl down, and you're hanging out, and they're like, it's okay, there's bars here to keep you from dying.
No, there's bars that you hold on to, and some dude will hold your side.
Yeah, and he's usually 100 years old. No thank you. Yeah,
Farmer
but you know
Tommy
what I mean.
from down the road.
Yeah. But you know, get out to West Cork, get out there where you're in the middle of the field, and next thing you know, you're seeing a stone circle that's not been touched or disturbed, because as you said earlier, people still respect those for superstitious reasons or respect for
up the road from my house. There's 3 standing stones for the spirits to lean against.
Yeah, and you don't fuck with the spirits places where they like to lean, and you don't mess with the fairy forts. You leave the fairies alone, and you leave them cream and stuff so they don't mess with you and steal your children.
Yeah.
So yeah, good stuff. Okay, well, here's what's going to happen. We're going to go ahead and Rome. We're going to what the fuck? Okay, this is after 5 pubs, so I've had 5 drinks, but I really haven't because I don't drink anymore. But
well, on my channel, it's like, brain, please, would you? Thank you.
Yes, brain, please, for you. Thank you. Gareth Mahagut. Yeah, see, that's the other thing. I remember a little bit of Irish. I remember prayer songs, what the teachers yelled at us, and time brother Daragagum. I have a red bicycle.
Cadagum dulcity on letters Moshe the Holly.
Yes. And of course the teacher yelling, "Do not Doris!" Because you leave it.
Do not Doris.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna let. It's like were you born in a barn?
A stock or a mock? Pick one.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah. Well, and it used to be we used to say, Cadagum Dulamach Moshe Hole. And the teacher would go, we said that back in the day when we had those stupid outhouses. Now you say Dulgary and Lethris. It's like,
yeah.
Sorry. But it
so basically, Irish has
had.
gone through a change.
Wait, Irish has gone through a change again?
Yeah. In recent years. Black man is no longer blue man.
Oh, like, so it's gone politically correct.
Yeah.
Oh, you see,
and nobody uses it.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it's hard enough to speak Irish. I mean, I've heard more Irish spoken since I've been back in a long time, and I had some. My mom and dad's best friends actually are still around, and I visit them in Turles, and they said that it's been a bit of a revival since there's been a bunch of. They're kind of trying to erase Irish culture, and so suddenly everyone's talking Irish again.
A lot of people want their kids to go to the Gael talk.
I was about to say they send them out to the Gael talk, even if for the summer or even in boarding school.
They now have Gael talks that are day schools.
Cool. I would love to do that. Well, I'm too old for that. But no, in the Gael talk...
No, you're not. Actually, they have special programs. So if you came over... They've got special programs for adults like yourself to learn it.
Oh, actually, yes. That's what I was about to say. There's one up in Donegal where you can take a 2-week immersion course and live in an Irish family, and you can take beginner, intermediate, or advanced. And I would just take beginner because any of the grammar I learned, because I started to learn the grammar in secondary school, and then I moved back to America. So I don't know the grammar, but I can understand some of the Irish. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Whenever I go over there, I'll hear in the airport and stuff, it'll be like, oh yeah, I understood that, and everyone else is like, that's gibberish. It's like, it's Irish. Yeah,
it's
so
not
the Gael
gibberish.
Talks, you and me, we're gonna go to the Gael Talks, and we're gonna get fluent again, or like I will. And also,
all right, how about this? Bring Rennie to the Gael Talk.
Oh my gosh, that would be so awesome, and make her learn Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Hear that, Rennie? We're giving you a hard time. But no, but I remember songs. Like, did you ever remember A Hyder in a Cree?
God.
I remember
the song, but I don't remember the words. Oh God, PTSD.
Okay, well, I remember the songs, I remember the prayers, and I do go to mass in Irish because I can. But okay, so if there's anything else you want to say about true crime, if you do not, then we're going to go on.
That's everything. Because we're only getting into it on my channel. Go like and subscribe to Potato Revan, please.
Yes, please do, and please could. I do have his channel in the description, but please, if one of my mods could put his channel in the chat so that people can go ahead and subscribe to him right now. So now we're going to go into the game part of Roll 7, and we're going to do it in English, not Irish. Wait, a head, a do, a tree, a car, a cook, a shake, a shock. A shock is at 7.
Octus 8.
But you always have to a shock, a hoch, an 8, a de. Yeah, there we go. And I have to count it because I don't always completely remember. What the heck was all that? Halfling speak. How dare you, sir? How dare you? Or you know that, though, don't you?
That's your father.
That's your father, yeah. Now, I don't know the Hail Mary. Isn't that awful? Because I wasn't Catholic, so we never learned the Hail Mary. I'm still trying to learn it. I'd love to pray a rosary in Irish. Wouldn't that be lovely? And Mara, Dies Margaret, Jesus and Mary be with you. So, all right. Now, we're going to Roll 7. The way Roll 7 works, this was all Steve's fault, but him, my mother, and my father worked on these questions. It's similar to into the actor studio where there's oh shit! I just dropped the dice and it hit my cat. I'm sorry, baby.
Your cat's like, "Why, Mama?"
Did you hear that? She really did. Oh shit! What was I saying?
Hey, Meteor.
Yeah, so I'm going to roll my d20 and one of 7 questions. So we're going to roll 7, and please, everyone in the chat, feel free to participate. Farv is here. Farv did the. I didn't know that I could call you Farv and not try to keep pronouncing that. So here we go. Roll. I'm going to roll my 20. We're going to see what it brings up. All right, Potato Revan. What's your favorite excuse when you are late?
So the reason why I'm late is that there was a galactic alignment that caused the gravitational pull along each of the planets getting subsequently more powerful, which had a larger pull on myself, which caused the time dilation field. So for me being late, I'm actually on time, but for everyone else, I'm actually arriving late.
That is the best excuse I've ever heard in my life. See, that's why we have to bring on the Irish. That's why the Irish are awesome. That is amazing. And Mountain says, what about your Cork speech? Shout out to the thieves, the viewers, and all the Cork langers. Yes, the langers. You get, oh gosh, no one can curse like the Irish.
No.
Oh gosh. And the Meteor Advocate, hello. He's our friend from Brazil. He says, a 20 on the cat? That's a critical hit! Oh gosh. Steek, I can't believe Steek, if you're here, he's probably not. He hates my cat. He really hates my cat. That would have made his day. I gotta clip that for him. That was
And just there.
that was gold, Timon. That was gold. So you're a wizard. There you are.
Pretty
Yes,
much.
That was amazing. And understand, people, that was extemporaneous. He did not prepare that. He did not know the questions in advance. All right. If you could have dinner with one famous person, who would it be and why?
Michael Collins.
Damn yeah.
I'd ask him who killed you.
Yes, I was so gonna say that. Yeah, solve it for us, you bastard.
Yeah, it's like, dude, who killed you? It's been like people have been watching for 100 years. Take a pen.
It's like it friggin' started a civil war, you asshole. All right. Tell me something on your bucket list.
I don't have one. No. Go to the desert and see the Milky Way.
Ooh.
That is what I want to do. I want to go to the desert one day and see the Milky Way.
Badass.
I also have one thing, but it's also really sad.
Oh, okay.
Walk without crutches.
Oh. Well, God bless you, man. Well, you see, okay, if this were the 80s, and if I would yell at you and say, have you been to Lourdes?
Yes.
Okay, you have, then never mind. Because it's your own fault if you're still wearing crutches and you haven't been to Lourdes. But since you have, it's not. If you know Ireland, you know what I'm talking about, everyone in the chat. Lourdes is, okay. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that. And it's my hope that one day maybe we can have the technology, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day. You don't know what tomorrow holds.
No, you never do. And Meteor Advocate, he's been praying to St. Athanasius to give us a meteor because he's a patron saint of meteors because he hates the planet and wants us all to die. Maybe shoot up a few prayers for Potato Revan. Let's see. I won't tell you what the number was. What would you do if you were the only human on Earth?
Off myself.
Oh my gosh. We went to a dark place here at Miss Martin Muses. Yes, we do.
I'm the last person left. What's there left for me to do? It's a lifetime of loneliness.
You're right. Yes. Okay,
There's no civilization, no one for me to talk to.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, yes, you have no one to talk to. Yeah, what's the reason to live? My listener says, best reply I heard from school way too many years ago. What excuse do you have for me? Well, miss, I won't lie to you. And then they said nothing. That's a good one. Okay. And if you didn't have to sleep, what would you do with the extra time?
Learn.
Ah.
Like history, languages, music.
Mm. Oh, that's awesome.
Also
Well,
troll people. I
did you
troll
say
people a
control
lot.
people or troll
No,
people?
troll.
Troll people. Okay, fair enough. Okay.
I went to a vegan Facebook group and
Oh dear.
posted a picture of a little lamb and a cow that says friends forever. Underneath it, a chicken and a cow or something like that, and I posted like a bacon double cheeseburger.
Oh no.
Friends forever.
Oh, there
It
you
was a
go.
pig and a cow.
And Timon, he is working on it. Yes, please do. We're depending on you. Bucket list says Mountains of Elysium. Throw a slipper at a cactus.
I've done that.
Oh dear. All right. What fictional character do you wish were real and why?
Gandalf. Honestly.
And why?
I don't really know why. It's just I've always felt like a connection with Gandalf ever since I was young.
Mm-hmm.
He's like one of the best wizards out there. Also, I'd ask him, can I play with a staff?
And I'm assuming you mean the real staff, not
No, the real staff.
not the dirty staff.
No, I don't swing that way.
Yeah, I know you don't. Well, you know, it's a free country. You can shag whoever you want. If you could travel back in time, when would you go to and why?
April 21st, 1822, 7:21 in the afternoon, Dungarvan, County Waterford.
Cool.
It is the wedding of my 4 times great grandfather, attended by his father, and I would honestly ask for his father's name, where he came from, and I would interview them all while they were there because his mother, his grandmother, and people were there. The last time that they were all in one room.
Damn, that would be cool. And how do you? Well, I guess it's family lore. You know all that.
Yeah, so my family have been doing genealogy for the last 70 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, take that, Mormons.
Oh, yeah, eat your heart out. Eat your heart out. Well, thank you, Timon. I do appreciate that. I'm glad you're enjoying them. Riker 7076, Blarney a little steep with the wizard's magic staff.
Gandalf?
Okay, it's like hearing TLOR.
The Lord of the Rings, TLOR.
Oh, I'm an Egypt. Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, he's got the accent. I don't. So, yeah.
Well, a lot of them, I've heard that a lot of Americans call him Gandalf. Or Gandalf.
Oh, it's Gandalf.
No, it's Gandalf.
Gandalf? No, it's Gandalf.
Yeah.
Gandalf. Oh,
no,
shit.
Oh.
Gandalf?
Remember the country where it's written. It's Gandalf. Gandalf the Grey. Gandalf. Alf. Wait,
Alf, yeah. I thought I was saying Gandalf. Gandalf.
No, you were saying... you were saying more elf.
Gandalf. Oh, for fuck's
It's the American accent. Lose the accent, you'll be fine now.
Okay, fine. Shit. Back when I was in college, they had a pub crawl game, pub golf, and they had a list of drinks and how many drinks to swallow the drinks. Oh. Few made it past the 7th or 8th pub. Yeah, well, we're on the 5th pub, and both of us are completely sober, so you tell me. Let's see. What is the title of the current chapter of your life?
Fuck it.
I love it. Mine's fuck my life. So same, very similar. Fuck it. Well, I'll tell you, there's a book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, and I'll tell you, you'll be a happier person for it. You really will.
Oh yeah, that's how I live my life. Is like, fuck it.
Mm-hmm. Fuck it. You know what? I'm gonna put that on.
It's her accent, Rennie. It's the Americans when they say certain A letters, it sounds like they're saying E. Like when they say Ireland, it comes in Ireland. Fucking
Yeah. Well, it's
weirdos.
Ireland. It's Ireland, right? Ireland.
No, you're
How do you say
going. It's like R. It's ire.
But what's the right way
Like
to say it?
IRE. Like my I, and
Yeah.
then RE.
Yeah. Ireland.
Yeah. Some Americans go Ireland. It's weird.
Ireland. Well, Ireland. That's how I. Never mind. I'm saying it wrong, aren't I?
No, you're not.
Yes, I
There's
am.
no- I'm being nice.
Never mind. You said I'd say it right. So Ireland is not right either.
Yeah, it's Ireland. Like how I'm saying.
Ireland.
Yeah,
Ireland.
that's it.
Ireland. That's what I said.
No, you were going more like elongated. It's shorter.
Okay.
You don't elongate. You shorten it.
Okay. So if you go Ireland, it's okay.
Yeah, it's a short. It's a short one because we
Okay.
go Ireland. It's
Ireland. Okay. So I
Yeah.
was holding the R too long because I was taught it was not Ireland, and I don't do that. That's Ireland. Oh, whatever. I'm not a. God
it's
gave
okay.
me those
Don't frustrate. You're fine.
He's being a polite Irishman now, aren't you? Yeah. We say Gandalf or Gandalf. Shit. We're gonna start this up again. We say that name of that wizard like Potato Ribbon. Thought our L sound was like a U. F it will do. Rennie says, I will peel you on a live stream, Tater. People are laughing.
Yeah, but you have to pay $50 to see that. Just saying.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? That's the way. If say it like they do in Brazil, Irlanda.
Irlande.
Yeah. Or Angleterre. Oh wait, shit. That's England. That's French for England.
How dare you?
Oh, I know. Fuck my life. See, I told you it was fuck my life. I just totally insulted you. I don't know French. I suck at
Go
I
out and take a
everything.
bath in Irish Spring soap and then come back and eat 10 bowls of Lucky Charms.
Dingo, get diabetes. All right, I think that was the seventh one. Okay, Mountains of Elysium. How to order a pint after number 7 in Ireland. Sway wildly, hold up one finger, and say, grin and nod. All right. Well, actually, I'm now self-conscious, but I'll probably say it wrong. Era, right? That's how you say it in the Irish language, right?
Air.
Air, not with the re. So air.
No, it's era, not era.
Era.
It's yeah,
because it's Sean. It's an e fada. Era.
yeah. It's era.
Era.
Yeah, and then the other one is Erin and Eru.
Yeah, and Aaron you use like radio televis Aaron for
Radio Telefish Heron, Earnod Aaron. It's more the officially sounding one.
Yeah. Okay, era. I'll probably say that better, but gosh, because that makes sense that the fada sound gives it that sound, but I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But I'll digress.
Is from a much older language, while Erin, the modern one, is from modern English, while Ere is leftover words named after the Celtic goddess.
Cool. I did not know that.
So when you're actually saying Ere, you're actually talking in a language that's over 5,000 years old.
Oh, that makes me cool. Yay. At least I didn't fuck it up and call you England. My gosh, that was probably the biggest faux pas I have done in my entire life, and I deserve to die for it.
No, you don't.
No, I guess that's not worthy of capital punishment. I don't know French. Actually, the French do think I'm worthy of capital punishment for how I speak French. Riker says F sounds the same all the time.
Fun fact. Netherlands German is technically Low German.
No way, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because so we call it Dutch because they used to be part of a German kingdom. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Before Napoleon came along, they were the Republic of Orange run over by Prince. Don't know how that works.
Mm-hmm. Well, we all know what orange means, or at least I do.
Yeah, But no, their house was was the House of Orange. That's where it came from.
Yeah, I know that's where it came from, and then I'm bitter. I'm still bitter about the Glorious Revolution.
The Dutch actually speak their Dutch. So the Dutch is so this literally makes sense in the Netherlands. Okay?
Okay.
Nederlander, Nederlands, Nederlande. That makes sense.
Yes.
It means basically it's saying I'm Dutch in the Netherlands and I speak Dutch.
That's
Spraken Sie Nederlande?
Well, you heard it here first.
Do you have a problem with... Yeah. No.
Like Teresa. Well, wait. Are you saying a problem with the F word, meaning that it's like a drinking problem because I say it too much, or the fact that I'm supposed to have it?
Like I say it all the time.
Yeah, it's a noun, it's a verb, and well, it's better if you say feck, because you can't say fucking Egypt. It has to be fecking Egypt with the.
So yeah, literally, if you call someone a fucking, that's kind of like fighting words. But if you call them fecking, that's not.
Well, you heard it there first, and not to mention langer, because I remember langer. You can't say langer; it has to be langer or like lang. And in Cork, they used to say, obviously I suck, but it's like langer.
Hey, I just found something for you.
Oh, you did?
It's the Rosary Oscuelga.
No way! I'm gonna
all of it.
Okay, well, send it to me so I can learn how to say
course.
it, because Our Lady speaks Irish. Everybody knows that. She's actually really Irish. Oh,
she's so Irish that she's that she eats stew. Did you ever hear this? That the best stew in an Irish pub is from a pot with old stew stuck onto it, an old clay pot.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. I don't know if it's true.
It's true. I've had it. I went to a country pub, and it was like this pot had old stew stuck on it. Oh my god.
Well, you heard it here first. Okay. Meteor Advocate Timon says, not that F word, the one forbidden in Ireland. Oh, we were talking. Oh, because I was telling Timon about fairies. Whoops, I just did it. But I'm not in Ireland, so it's okay. I was taught you don't say the word fairy. Like, you call them like the good people and stuff. Because.
No, you call them the Fae.
Oh, the Fae. But yeah, but. Well, no, but you call them the
fairy means gay people.
Oh my gosh, there goes my channel. No, but I was taught, and that you don't say it, you call them the people or the good people.
The little people.
Yeah, you don't really try not to say their names, because
when you don't say their names, it means the names of the individuals. Not the collective group's names. Like, just say that you found out one of their names. You don't say their names. Also, kind of like in Appalachia, you don't whistle in the dark. You don't look up in the trees at night, and things like that. And when you're on your own, a lot of people don't look into the trees.
Well, yeah, because there's probably like a pervert in there if you've ever seen Deliverance. Now, well, I mean, I'll bow down to you. I just remember what I was taught.
Yeah.
But and in Carrie, at least, there was an old man who, he told me not to. Okay, gowl is another good Cork swear.
Gowl.
Okay, I'm saying that wrong. Yeah, I didn't know that. I never heard that one before, but that doesn't mean I didn't. Famaza word. Oh yeah, I always hear about that. Corey Cocker says
it's another word of saying you eat it. Go on, you gowl.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, all right. Go on, yeah. I love it. See, and we as Americans, we can't ever really truly say that properly. Corey Crocker, I think I was 20 minutes late, then forgot to say hi. Oh, that's fine. We're all good that way. The Fae, the good people, the other folk. Yeah, you don't say that. Yeah, other words. The good people. I was taught you to call them the good people. You don't really.
It honestly depends on where you are.
That could be it.
Remember, Ireland used to be divided into 4 kingdoms.
Yeah, that's true, because you got Munster, Ulster, Leinster, and.
Come on, let's hear you say the other one.
Oh, fuck.
Connacht.
Wait,
Antrim is a county. It's
Antrim's a county.
Connacht.
Oh my gosh, what is the fourth province? I even had like a
Connacht.
stencil.
Munster,
Connacht.
Ulster, Leinster, Connacht.
Connacht. Yeah, that's where. Okay, my fault. My fault. And okay. Steek says, "Work Davis's Fae. I know his name." Okay, I'm not. Carry a piece of iron was a way to ward off the Fae. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you. Well, I always also heard. Well, just there's lots of different ways to do it.
There's lots of different ways because Ireland has a lot of different, basically, like we got 4 dialects of Irish. No, 6. There's Munster Irish, Ulster, Leinster, Connacht. Then there's the Gaeltacht Irish. Then there is the Island Irish.
Correct. Yeah, and I remember getting blown away because a lot of the words that I learned in Irish, and then I learned like in Dublin they say winter, like Gevra or something really messed up like that, and we always learned it was Gierig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Dublin is learning it from Leinster, but you're learning it. Is it Munster? Is Cork in
Yeah,
Munster?
Munster's Irish. Munster's Cork. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Timon. Yeah, a piece of iron.
Actually, mountains, there were 6. You're forgetting the islands.
Okay. Oh, okay. Mountains is saying there were 5 original: Munster, Leinster, Connacht, Ulster, and Meath. Meath was being the seat of the High King. Okay, and then he says the islands. I've never been out to the islands.
Don't.
I want
boring.
to. Did you say they're horrid?
They're boring. They're full
They're
of
boring.
sheep.
Well, yeah, they're boring and they're cold. Okay,
Yeah.
Steek says a piece of iron works on versus cats too. Steek, if you weren't here, your dream happened and you missed it. I was rolling the dice and it flew out of my hand and hit Maple Leaf on the head and she yelled. And Timon called it a critical hit. It was awful.
Is she okay? Did she lose an eye?
Yeah, hundreds of minor kingdoms. Yeah, don't even get started on those. Yeah. And people didn't travel, so it wasn't.
No, the saying actually comes from Ireland. Pick up a rock, throw it, find. No, pick a rock, find a hill, throw your rock, declare yourself king.
There you are. Yeah, I'd do that. I learned some Irish playing JRPGs about Cuchulainn. Role playing game? Yeah, that's what I think it is.
Yeah, no, Japanese role playing game. I'm like, how did the hell did those two get mixed in together?
I was gonna say, what the. I'll tell you the story. The legend of Tir na Nog, Oisin and the Tir na Nog used to scare me because remember he went off and then he was all young and then he was allowed to visit back as long as he stayed on his horse and then he leaned down to help a kid pick up a rock and then his saddle thing broke and he fell and became old.
And as soon as he touched Irish soil, he like aged and was like, no.
Yeah, like rapid age, like the guy on.
He didn't disintegrate. He turned 30.
Oh, oh, gee. Oh my. Okay. Well, with that in mind, I need to wrap up this party.
Yeah.
But this has been a wild night here at the pub. I'm so glad to see everyone here, and I'm getting corrected. I'm getting corrected by the different things that I know. But you're right. Everyone knows different things, and if you've never been to Ireland, it for such a small place, it has so much. So much culture.
They found an axe that presumably dates Ireland. They found an axe from like 79,000 years ago in Ireland.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I love. The bogs. And like people used to dump bodies into bogs and like thousands of years later they find a dead body in a bog.
So, funny story about that. They actually found rolls, meat, butter, wine, mead. Someone buried their groceries and forgot where they buried them.
Yes! I know, it's like, what an asshole. Okay, tell me back to the news. You guys still going? No, these streams are shorter. Well, they're usually about an hour and a half, but you got to understand this is the first time I've had an Irishman on. And, there is no time.
Time does not exist.
Time does not exist. We're having too much fun. Yeah, and I'm reminiscing here. An island
Yeah,
full
guys,
of.
but my channel's in the description. Please go and check me out.
Yeah, please do. Please do. Yeah, let's get
Hold
him
on.
somewhere. Oh,
Last question. Potato gratins. Best potato dish. It's potato gratins.
okay. You heard it there first. Yeah, well, anything potatoes in Ireland. It's like I think in Ireland they put wait, I said it wrong again. In Ireland, they put crack into potatoes. That's just all there is to it. The potatoes taste great. The fish tastes great. Gosh, Mountain of Elysium says it's an island full of langers.
And gobshites.
And gosh, oh, it's true. It's true. And well, I'm now self conscious about anything I say with Irish now because when
I
you got
don't.
yeah. All right. Well, it's not our fault we're Americans. I mean, we've been butchering every language since we came into existence.
Actually, the southern accent is actually closer to the older accent, and culture-wise, the South in America is actually derived from Ireland.
I believe it. Yes.
Also, Zorro was Irish as well.
Oh, well, there you go. Crack into potatoes. Damn right. Damn right. Well, but I've never been to Scotland. One of these days I'll be to Scotland. So, anyways, thank you so much, everybody. I got too many to name, but we've had a great crowd here tonight. Please sub to Zombie Box. I mean, yeah, actually, sub to Zombie Box too. Genie Mac. He was the last name I saw there. Sub to everybody because we all love everyone. In Ireland, the Spanish term. I'm not. Oh gosh, you do not want to hear me try to pronounce Spanish. It's just way too rushed for us. Mañana. Yeah. Okay. Well, no, I know. I just did it. Okay, I must have misheard. LOL. Cracking a potato.
No. Mike reminds me of my cousin Paolo. Whenever you ask her at, and then she's not going to show up on time, it'll be ask mañana.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Well, we got a lot of Spanish-speaking little people, and they would just always raise their hand. You're saying it wrong, miss. And I'm like, I'm sure I am. Thank you.
No, the way it's saying it wrong. Good.
Oh, there you go.
Just turn around to him and tell him it's not real language anyway.
Oh, gosh. Well, that's how you get angry emails from parents. But guess what? I don't have to deal with that anymore. You got it right, Teresa. Oh, thank you. Well, thank you, Timon. And he speaks, he's Portugal language. He speaks
Portuguese.
Thank you, Portuguese. So he would know. But anyways, thank you for everyone for being here. We had we had a Cork man here. We had another man here. I don't want to say where you are. Zombie Box, Meteor Advocate. We had Rennie, Steve, Tommy. More names than I can possibly remember. Dalek. This has been a great crowd. Thank you so much for giving me your time, and be sure to subscribe to him. My wife's trying to get me to speak Spanish. Oh, there we are. Okay, yeah, but Spanish is different over there than it is over here.
Because over in his wife is like South American Spanish, but
okay. That's what we do here.
Yeah, but like my cousin Paula said that it's been a little bit of a shock because she went from talking Venezuelan Spanish to having to talk Spanish.
Mm-hmm. It's like almost a different language.
Yeah.
It's like it's a thing. We had a big ocean between us. All right. Mountain of Lithium says later langers, later alligators. Thank you very much.
Gobshites.
Have a great day. And be certain to I don't know, don't be a langer. There we are.